the most awkward situation being horny has gotten you into? Welcome to Between Nerds. This is episode 139.
Yo, that was a good intro. If I'm being completely honest.
Thank you for joining us. I'm Aldo Mendez. This is my co-host, Relias. And this is, again, episode 139 of Between Nerds. Chainsaw Man.
Chainsaw Man, the Studio Mappa monstrosity, the mainstream cultural mainstay that is the manga by Tatsuki Fujimoto. What is there to say that hasn't been said about Chainsaw Man at this point? Like, come on. It's like, we are doing a disservice having not done this episode sooner, if I'm being completely honest.
Hey, we get stuck with some niche anime, you know, some shit that we have to dip our toes into one way or another.
And it's insane because off the mic last week, me and you were talking,
yes.
And I couldn't believe that we hadn't done Chainsaw Man already. Because I feel like during Nerd Downs and stuff like that, we just talk about it all the time. Like, it's not like... there was 3 months straight where all nerd internet was talking about was Chainsaw Man.
Yeah. And the months before it, you would see people, you know, carrying a fucking manga of Chainsaw Man. Like, everybody was reading this shit. You had me read this shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's fucking dope, dude. And honestly, I am glad Chainsaw Man was not done in CGI all the time. Because the first episode, though, it looks good, but it's a little off-putting.
Like, I understand why the Chainsaw Man character model has to be done in CGI. You know what I mean? It's too much motion to have 3 chainsaws, like, over a belt moving in frame. I understand that sentiment. But, like, the very first episode, I remember I wanted to riot because I absolutely adore the manga. It's probably my favorite manga I've read in the past, like, couple years besides, like, I don't know, Demon Slayer or Oshinoko, or like, you know, things that already hit. You know what I mean? Like, it's up there. It's so far up there. And I thought Studio Mappa dropped the ball for a second after episode 1 came out.
I can't... It's because it makes sense, like, in a lot of points of the anime, like, it makes sense just like Beastars makes sense. You know what I'm saying? Like, to make things 3D modeled. But, like, that one first episode when our boy Pochita finally, you know...
Kicks the bucket?
Kicks it, you know?
And, like, if I'm being completely honest, like, in big overarching terms, having read every chapter of Chainsaw Man, and, like, no spoilers or anything, like, I know that, like, in, like, a year when season 2 comes out and is finished, like, we're gonna be geeking about recording that episode as well. But, like, the way I feel about the manga and the medium right now is that Chainsaw Man really is a story. It's a sad story because it's, like, being a blank slate, being an unimpressioned young adult, being a young man in a really, really evil world. People are the devils. And it's not only that, it's like, maybe don't... Like, this is not my sentiment, but, like, the story it wants to tell sometimes is, like, trusting women will kind of get you in a bad situation a lot of the time.
It gets very... On the surface, it gets very tatey.
Yeah.
Tatey. Yeah. And I get what you mean, because it is obvious that it's trying to portray a vulnerability to being naive or being young or being impressionable. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it sucks. It sucks just like Cyberpunk, you know?
Yeah, so Edge Runners was a lot of the same thing. It's a young, impressionable adult that wants to be a part of this adult world, maybe a little too soon, and he ends up getting hurt because of it. And like, it's an adult's world, you know what I mean? Like, if the world of Chainsaw Man is a world where people's fears are literally personified. Like, if I have this fear of plushed animals, there's like a stuffed animal devil out there somewhere that's gonna be like, Drew, I'm gonna eat you, and that's scary because, like, think of everything people are actually afraid of. The darkness, like, there's a darkness devil that's introduced in later chapters. Some of the scariest devils we see here are like a bat devil. You know what I mean? People are afraid of vampires and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Leech devil, that's scary. there's bug devils and stuff like that. Like, I don't want to be anywhere near that.
You know what I really like, though? Like, I've had this conversation with other people. I don't know if I've had it with you, but I'm like super like I want a rated R Men in Black movie.
Oh yeah.
And this feels very Men in Blackish.
Oh yeah,
you know
totally.
what I'm saying?
It's the exact same story as Men in Black.
Yeah. But it also feels like everything else we've watched, like Jujutsu Kaisen, like Demon Slayer. But
Studio Mappa has a type when it comes to like adapting manga.
but like the Men in Black aspect of the whole thing of like, you know, being a recognized like agency of like of devil killers, you know, devil hunters. It's so cool. But then I think the difference between Denji and somebody like what was it, Hector or Carlos from Edge Runners?
Oh,
Or am I just bringing up beaner names?
no, like it was I want to say it was Carlos. What was his name?
I'm
Anyways,
gonna feel
go on.
bad. I'm gonna feel bad if it's not one of those. But anyways, unlike that, we see our protagonist in Edge Runners to be in a bad relationship with himself, as far as like he's also hurting himself and not just the people around him hurting him.
Right.
Here in Dingy is so desperately fucking poor, and so
Like,
in a
he's, like,
bad,
literally
shitty
homeless.
place. Yeah, in such a bad shitty place from a really young age because his dad decided to delete himself because of the debt he had.
Or that's what we think happened.
Oh, that's what we think happened. Maybe, I don't know. You've read the whole thing.
David
David.
Martinez.
Hector, Juan. David.
Aldo.
You know what I'm saying?
Andres. Who
Andres,
knows?
yeah. So, here, I don't know. Just obviously never went through education. No, obviously he never had the social skills for anything else. It's like, so he just wants to do a little better every day. Whether it's maybe today, instead of not eating,
Like, he
I
really
have a cup of milk or something.
He really thinks he's going to be able to pay off a debt that's ever expanding because he owns it to mobsters.
Yeah.
Like, they're just tacking on interest just because they're the mob. You know what I mean? And he's such like a
Gullible, naive.
yeah, naive. That's a good word for it. He's so naive, but like in a positive way, he really thinks he can claw his way out of this.
It's like ignorance and bliss kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. And it's sad because like he's literally putting himself in harm's way. Like he's killing devils. Like he kills a tomato devil in like the very first episode, and like he lets the mob like sell and harvest the organs, a la Pacific Rim. I don't know if you remember that scene.
Kill
so
the crabs and they fucking
right, and then
vacuum
like
them.
and then they come vacuum them up, which is.
Sorry about that.
Which is also the plot to Kaiju number 8. And it's sad because he's putting himself in harm's way. His best friend is a little dog-sized devil with a chainsaw on its forehead. And he'll do anything for a buck. He eats a cigarette. He sells a testicle, an eyeball, a kidney, just to still be what's essentially like hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt to the Yakuza.
Yeah, and then like he'll finish up a job and be like, "Oh, well, you just made 500 yen, but guess what? Because I drove you here because you used my weapons or I had to clean it up." It's like, well, that's
Cleaning fee, all this other stuff.
It's like you have 10 yen for yourself. It's like, oh shit, great, Poshita, we get to eat bread tonight.
Yeah,
Woo!
bread, not
Yeah.
toasted. He doesn't understand what the concept of jam is.
Yeah.
No butter on it. Like, it's literally just dried bread and water he just finds.
It reminds me of this fucking TikTok I saw while obviously the hype of Chainsaw Man was going on.
Right,
It's
right.
it's a drawing somebody makes, but it's like different shots, and it's like, oh, watering down milk again tonight. It's a great day, or some shit like that.
That reminds me, you finished the season of The Last of Us, right?
Yeah.
It's like when they were watering down like meat, and then after a certain like while, they were like, "Oh, we don't have to water down the meat stew anymore because we have all this venison that we just found."
Yeah, we
wink,
have a lot
wink.
of venison. Yeah.
Crazy,
Crazy
absolutely
stuff.
insane. And like it's a story about a boy and his dog, essentially. You know what I mean? It's about how love for a pet can help you through the worst of times in a weird roundabout kind of way.
Yeah, because Pochita also, like, it was her. They essentially made a contract before even making a contract.
Right.
They were like, hey, dude, it's like, I'm taking care of you. It's like, please take care of me.
And that's the thing that we don't think about in the beginning when we don't know a lot about devils, is that, like, fiends and devils are real world fears, right? So there's a shark fiend, and a fiend is a devil that has overtaken part of a human body and has taken over the consciousness. As opposed to sometimes you'll have a devil that the fear has manifested so greatly they can manifest themselves. Like when we see the bat devil, the leech devil and stuff like that. Or when we see the tomato devil. But like, especially in this season, you're like, what is Pochita then? Because like, what fear can somebody have of this cute little orange fucking puppy dog? Like,
Texas Chainsaw Massacre, bro.
but that's what I mean. Then why isn't he scarier? Like, why? What happened? And you don't think about that in the beginning, but the more you learn about the actual lore of this power system, which is what the devils and the fiends are, in the Chainsaw Man anime, because it's a shonen, you know what I mean? It's a battle shonen. It's a horror battle shonen at a certain point. And just the like. In the entirety of season 1, we don't see any empathetic devils besides like maybe Power, but she's so stupid, like it's not even like empathy.
Yeah, it's just like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do that right now.
Yeah, but that's not real empathy. It's not like she doesn't have bloodlust, even though she's the blood fiend. It's just kind of, she's just stupid. And the more I remember at the time when I was reading these chapters that were adapted into season 1, I was like, then what is Pochita? And the season 1 culmination, season 1 of Chainsaw Man, besides like the weird CGI when like he actually turns into Chainsaw Man, I think it's immaculately put. Like, it feels like the first episode of How I Met Your Mother. It feels like the first season of BoJack Horseman. It feels like the first episode of New Girl, of Friends, of what are other comfort shows? Do you have a comfort show?
Sunny in Philadelphia.
It's like the first like couple episodes of It's Always Sunny. The first season of The Office. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you know the plot beats, you know the characters, you know, you could almost quote dialogue as it's happening.
Correct.
But like, but that's a good thing. That's what I mean. It's so like, it's comforting. It's really like, oh yeah, this is Chainsaw Man. He's about to pop out of the dumpster and just murk everybody because that's what this anime is about.
And you're right. Everything, even the horror, which we have evidence of a lot of anime not actually
Doing horror well.
Correct. You know, Parasite. Bad. You know what I'm saying? That's the one that comes out to mind, you know? But like here, I really like the character design. But not just that, I guess the direction that they went on, making them seem like they're always in a dark alley.
Right.
Like, even if they're outside, they're always casting the sun behind them, so they always have like a shadow on top of them.
That's an excellent point, and I
it
never
looks
thought about that.
Super good. And it looks super good because it makes it noir almost, like in every conversation.
Oh, it is. It is, because like if like the genre of noirs, you feel like you don't have all the information, but you're learning with the detective at the same time.
Correct.
Except like our detective's stupid as fuck.
Because
he's
everybody,
dingy.
most of them, except for fucking Makima.
Yeah,
she's just weird. You know, off-putting almost.
Yes, scary. So it like, she knows too much, clearly, and that's also a character dynamic in noirs. Like, there's always a character that they meet that is that clearly knows more than they're letting on.
The beautiful woman's like, oh, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. And that's Miss Makima in this scenario. So like, if we're watching season 1 of Chainsaw Man through the noir lens, then you're right, and that adds to the horror element, because it's just like, what don't we know? I literally don't even know what we don't know at this point.
Yeah.
Because, so I watched episode 1 of Studio Mappa's new anime, Hell's Paradise, right? And it's like, it's a lot of the same. Like, it's clear that they have a type that they want to adapt. It's horror adjacent, it's fantasy adjacent, but like, it also gives room for big shonen-y bombastic fights with cool powers, right? That's what Studio Mappa's like kind of leaning towards, because they want to get away from the Attack on Titans of the world. They want to get away from In This Corner of the World. They like, but how that relates to Chainsaw Man is that like, Chainsaw Man's the only one like that. Like, I never got that sense from from Jujutsu Kaisen. I never got that sense. I'm not getting the sense from Hell's Paradise, because Hell's Paradise is literally about a ninja, like, is tasked to go to the underworld to find the elixir of immortality and bring it back to the shogun, to the shogunate. It like, they're laying everything out. Like, that's the whole plot, right? But obviously it's gonna have the the Made in Abyss effect, where it's just like, oh, we're going on this happy-go-lucky adventure, and just shit goes wrong. Like that's what it looks like it's leading up to.
Yeah. It just made me think about. It also made me think about this interview with Bryan Cranston.
Okay, love him.
Breaking Bad star.
Yes, sir.
They ask him, and it wasn't a Hot Ones. I know you don't watch Hot Ones, but I'm telling you, if you
I watch a lot of clips.
If you go down the list of like people that you know, like listen to the interview because the interviewer Sean is really good.
It's
right?
not just them just
whiling.
wings.
Yeah. So they ask him, is like, so what do you think is it's like the build down of like being an actor or like reading or getting involved with a new movie or something like that? And then Bryan Cranston goes on to say like, well, it's just different. Like when you take a look at the movie, when you look at the script, if you make the character cry right away, the audience doesn't cry.
Right.
But if you have the character fight to not cry, then the audience cries because he's being strong for them. You know what I'm saying? And like in Chainsaw Man, the horror is not the horror, is the weird decisions that people make that you don't know what they're gonna do. Like Power, first of all, when he first betrays Shinji, you think that's really scary because she's like just handing him a human
to get eaten by
get
the
eaten,
Bat Devil.
right?
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? And for me, that's the shit that like Makima is the shit that makes
your skin crawl.
My skin crawl. Exactly.
I think it's hilarious that you brought up like that crying example too, because like so like earlier, like just like an hour ago,
that happened earlier today.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like that happened this afternoon. I've been geeking on this podcast for like 6 months already about Oshinoko, right? And then like so I'm watching the hour and a half episode 1 on High Dive. And I'm watching it with Karen. Like, I really wanted her to watch it with me. We haven't had an anime together since, like, Call Me Can't Communicate, and it's been a little while. Well, since Chainsaw Man. She saw Chainsaw Man with me. But, like, everybody was watching Chainsaw Man. But, like, she'll only watch an anime if I watch it with her. You know what I mean? Like, I can't, like, watch a couple episodes and be like, hey, do you want to catch up with me? Kind of thing.
Nope. It's like,
right.
Lost interest and everything. Yeah.
Exactly. Like, she wants to experience it with me.
You. Yeah.
So we're watching it together, and like I know what happened. Like I've read 95 chapters out of the 105 chapters of Oshinoko at this point, and like they did an excellent job. I was worried in nerd downs of the adaptation speed because it seemed the entire first episode is the first volume of Oshinoko, which is 10 chapters in 90 minutes. I was really worried about that. It's like 9 minutes a chapter. Didn't feel good in my stomach. But it's great. It's amazing. When the climax happens, I almost wanted to cry, but I already knew it was going to happen, so I wasn't worried about it. So then, like, I hold it together. Gotta look good in front of Karen. You know what I mean? Can't embarrass myself crying over fucking Japanese cartoons in front of Karen. And then, like, so that dies down. I get over it. And then the very last scene... Like, the very last piece of dialogue in the very last scene, the very last camera transition, I even knew what was going to happen. And then, like, that piece of dialogue happens, the scene transition happens, and then I see it, and then the episode ends, and I'm just... and she's, like, literally, like, picking up, like, the teardrop from my eye, and just, like, giggling. Just giggling.
Nah, it's wild, man. Because, like, like, again, a great question. And, like, he goes, like, if the character there is strong right away, like, somebody like The Rock, like, you're not going to feel inspired by it. But, like...
I don't think I've ever felt inspired by a Rock
But, like, if a person is broken down, and then out of nowhere he is strong, then you feel inspired by it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like what differentiates like a novela from a really good movie. Like they're always gonna cry super quick. They're always gonna do everything dramatic super quick. So as an audience, you have no job to do.
In a stupid way, like thinking about it in media or like visual media, the first thing that comes to my mind is Iron Man in the MCU. You know what I mean? Because like, what's the best part of Endgame? It's when Iron Man is getting the shit beat out of him, has no armor left because like Thanos destroyed all his nanobots, and he just like roughs him up. Just roughs him up real quick, steals the Infinity Stones. He's like, I'm fucked up. These things are literally injecting gamma radiation into my damn veins, and I'd still win. That's tight. That is, and that's what every Denji fight feels like at the end of the day.
Yeah, but it's good. It's well placed though. It's well placed though. It's not. It doesn't get old because even the first episode, the first 5 episodes are like super fun.
Yep.
Except for like I don't know if it was 4 when they get shot in the train.
Yeah.
But like that was fucking weird. But it is all well placed because Dingy again, it's almost and it sucks that they put it to you like this, but it's well served, and you know it's well served because it makes you feel this way. But like his shitty situation, it's funny.
Yeah,
like
it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be in writing. It's really supposed to be because like especially in these earlier episodes, like you're talking about, like we don't know anything about anybody. We don't really know Denji's history. We don't know Aki's history. We don't know Maki's history. We kind of know Power's history. So Power is the blood fiend. Fiends are devils that have taken over part of a human body, but they have the same powers in their devil form. But they're like underpowered because like it's like
they're locked into a human body?
They're locked into a human body. It's like, what anime does that remind me of? It reminds me of maybe like Naruto or stuff like that, where like he tries to use the Nine Tails power and it like fucks him up like physically. It's like that kind of effect, right?
Yeah.
So like your vessel, if your vessel can't handle that power, then you're only strong as your vessel.
You don't have to go that far. My Hero Academia. Fucking
oh duh!
Yeah,
oh my god! Yes.
Right,
so it's the Deku effect. Like I can't go 100% power because I'm gonna
die.
I'm gonna break all my fucking bones. I'm gonna puncture my own luck. It's like that happens in Demon Slayer a little bit. Like once they start unlocking like the higher breathing power, like physically it hurts to breathe. Yeah. Like my lungs are on fire. Yeah. Like I can't. So that's Power's thing. But Power is. Like no one's that afraid of blood, really. Like it's an ugly feeling. Maybe you might have nightmares of people bleeding out.
People pass the fuck out, dude.
Right. So that's like more like you being afraid of somebody else you love dying, kind of. So it's like more the death devil as opposed to the blood devil.
Well, like,
or do you have a blood?
I don't have a blood fever, but I know people that do. Like my cousin, like she can't get like a shot because she thinks of blood, and like she cannot see blood at all. Like she gets fainty, dog.
I heard something like that fairly recently too. That like somebody I heard of. I know someone that wants to go back to school, but they won't because that would require them getting blood work done to get like their vaccines and stuff submitted, and they're just like, nope, can't do it. Just going back to a needle, like I can't fathom it. So it's like that, and so Power. All we know about Power is that they had a cat. She had a cat.
Actually, fun fact, did you know why they changed the color in surgical rooms from white, like, garments to, like, that deep green garments?
No.
Because of the shocking color of the red on white. They suppress it with that green, with that weird green on that.
I didn't even know that. How do you know that?
Some fucking movie, probably.
Just thinking about hiding all your blood stains.
But yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, bleach, alcohol, ammonia. Yeah. Vinegar.
All right. Okay.
No, but yeah.
I'm scared.
That's crazy.
I'm terrified. But yeah, so then, like, Power is, I think, like, a lot of people's favorite character, maybe. Especially in, like, popularity polls, like, when it comes to the manga. Like, people love Power. Because Power, like, I like Power's Japanese introduction more than their English introduction, even though we were talking like before we started recording, all of the like Latin language dubs, like the Romance languages, like the English like dub, are all immaculate.
They're pretty
like,
good.
There was a point where like every week on TikTok people were sharing like the peak
memes and shit,
dubbing for whatever, for Portuguese, for Spanish, for Italian, and like the English dub's pretty good, don't get me wrong, but something that's lost in translation in the Japanese introduction is like when Power walks down the hallway and is like
the nutsack monster, the nutsack devil.
That same conversation where they're introducing the nutsack devil. Power in English is like, you are in the presence of power, and like it's super dramatic and ugly. It's like a scene out of a comic book. When you listen to it in Japanese, Power actually talks like an old Japanese man. And, like, Power says, Watashi wa power! And, like, Watashi wa is, like, an old Japanese phrasing of saying, I am power. But, like, Watashi wa, like, you wouldn't say it like that. Like, that's saying, I am thou, Drew. Like, why the fuck am I saying Drew like that? And that's something that's lost. But then, now you have all these nerds, talking about nerds on the internet, just memeing to the point that it's actually them just being cringe and being like, I am thou's power. Why don't you lead me to thy blood? Because I must eat the... And, like, that's how power talks in the anime. Like an old English kind of person. But it's so cringy to the point that it's translated to actual cringe nerds that they actually speak like that in public.
Yeah, no, yeah. And we've heard a lot of conversation about, like, how nerds think that Japanese and anime is real Japanese, but when Japanese people is like, they know it's a joke within a joke almost, that it's like, yeah, that's a joke. They're talking weird because they're essentially in a weird way cringy.
Even in the 1800s, they weren't talking like Shakespeare.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like no one's talking like that.
Exactly. Yes.
And like the dubbing's so good. It's so amazingly good. Like once you start seeing like there's an episode which is actually kind of like really boring in episode until people start losing their shit. Is like there's an eternity devil. It's the eternity devil, right?
Yeah.
Or like the endless devil, the void devil, something like that. Yeah. People are afraid of the endless pit of eternity, right? That makes sense to me.
Yes. And before we get there, just to tell the nerds that haven't even heard about Chainsaw Man and they're trying to like watch Chainsaw Man, a point to my intro. Denji gets in a very horny situation just because Makima was nice to him.
Right, so Makima is the leader of... what's the
agency?
Yeah, the agency that just kills devils.
Yeah, Devil Hunter Agency?
They work for the government. They have a whole agency, and she's the leader of all of them,
Public Safety Devil Hunters.
Yes, them. And, like, once Denji in episode 1 goes crazy because... The Yakuza that he was working for sold themselves to the zombie devil.
Right.
And the zombie devil's hilarious because, like, you think... We're talking about devils, so it's supposed to be scary as shit, and they're literally supposed to be personifications of people's fears, their darkest fears. But, like, what I love about Chainsaw Man is it's not afraid to be funny about horror. So you have literal zombies, like this horror mainstay, this trope. But, like, the zombie devil's such a bitch because when you think about zombies, it's like they're weak and ugly and slow and stupid. Yeah. So Denji just busting out with chainsaws could just murk, like, 200 people in a warehouse.
Yeah, I also like the Chainsaw Man doesn't mind to throw some shade. And it's like, oh, yeah, well, the strongest fucking devil we ever seen is the gun devil when he first appeared in America. Like, a couple of years ago. Blah, blah, blah,
Of course
blah.
it's in America.
Duh! It was in America. Yeah. I thought that was great.
No, and like I think that's a good point because the katana devil like appears in Japan, and there's a bomb devil. Like there's a lot of the scariest devils and like the strongest devils have to do with weapons because that's what people are afraid of at the end of the day. Like how meta like Chainsaw Man gets, at a certain point I expect there to be like a human devil. You know what I mean? There's an angel devil. Whoa. People afraid of angels and dying, and that angel devil's power is to sap people's life away. That's scary as fuck.
Yeah. Well, shit, if you were to ask me at this point of the anime, I would say that fucking Makima is like almost that. You know what I'm saying? So
I didn't say nothing.
Exactly.
I didn't say nothing. I don't know why you... Makima's scary as shit because she's got tits.
Yeah.
If we're being completely honest, like, that's the scariest part about...
She has control over Denji.
She got ass, she got tits, and that means that she has control over Denji, and who...
Just like any man at one point was.
You know too much, Aldo. And I think that's your biggest issue. It like that's what like is off-putting about Makima's introduction is that like, hey little doggy, like she starts calling Denji a dog, a pet.
Yeah, it gets super fucking offensive. Like not offensive.
Pretty offensive. I think it's
that wasn't the word I was. It gets super.
She's like grooming him. She's gaslighting him?
No. It gets super...
She's cradling
verbally
balls.
violent.
Oh, okay.
Verbally violent. Yeah. No, yeah, I mean, she does have them right here, you know? But, Pochita, unfortunately, dies. Very good character throughout Denji's life.
Dead. He's not dead.
Well, he's not dead. But might as well have.
So what they did is, like, they made an official contract.
The zombie guy, yeah.
Right, so, like, when the zombie Yakuza murk Denji... because the zombie devil is literally afraid of Pochita for whatever that means, because he's got a chainsaw on his fucking forehead. They murk both of them, throw them in a trash can. Denji, like, starts envisioning and having a conversation with Pochita. in his death consciousness thing, and Pochito's like, listen, your heart has stopped beating. They ripped your heart out. I will be your heart, and I will give you basically immortality.
But just show me your dreams.
Show me. Oh, that's so spicy. Like, that's so
it's
like
good,
that's so
dude.
good.
It's
Like,
good.
it's like your mom just being like, I'll give you the world, bro. Just like do your best. Just do your fucking best.
Yeah.
Like that's such like comforting vibes in the horror anime about zombies and chainsaws and devils and shit.
Yeah, and fucking people, cut apart in limbs in a trash can.
Yeah. There's so much gore. And like that's what's really cool because like we go from our introduction of a conversation with the devil being like, dude, I want to help you be the best version of yourself that you can be. And then we're going to like Makima, like belittling him and being like, you're my dog, you're my pet, like do whatever I say.
Changed. Like the only thing that changed was like him not being murdered by the Yakuza anymore or the Mafia anymore.
Like he's not under the Mafia's thumb, but now he's under Makima's thumb.
Yeah, and it just feels terrible for like your audience. Like you're like, damn, but he is living his dreams, his small dreams.
That's what I mean about like the anime at its core and the manga at its core being about like, don't give your all to another person because they're going to take advantage of it. Like I said woman, but like that's how we see it here. But like it's at its core of being like, dude, like at a certain point you have to do what's best for yourself.
Yeah.
Because like if you relying on another person to give you that happiness, to give you that motivation, it's always going to fail.
Yeah, you shouldn't rely on other people for your happiness.
Which is cool. It's cool to like have somebody there for that. That's not what I don't think the anime and the manga are saying, but it's like you put all your eggs in one basket, they're going to fucking break.
Yeah,
and then you got no goddamn eggs.
Yeah.
And that's the issue.
No omelets.
No omelets. What are we talking about? Like then you can't eat.
Yeah.
And that's the issue because like he has his first ramen. He has like his first
bread toasted with jam.
That's like a huge deal for him. He's like, now I'm gonna sell my whole life to this woman.
He's like bed sheets. Shit.
Yes, warm bed. Yeah. Like there's air conditioning in this apartment. This is the best. I can have a bath. Crazy.
Yeah.
And he's down to just be a devil hunter and just be under the thumb of the government. And like I think it's funny that you compared it to Men in Black earlier, because that's the story to Men in Black. It's just like it's okay to have your own motivations and want to get revenge on the aliens or the people that killed your spouse, your wife, your girlfriend, your baby mama, whatever. But
do it for this secret sector,
right? But like do it for the government, and the government's just going to own everything about you, and you're not going to exist, and you're off the grid. Which is like the issue in Men in Black.
Yeah.
It's also kind of the issue in Chainsaw Man.
Yeah, and it's giving up your humanity.
Yeah, it's exactly what it is. Just to be under the thumb of fascism at the end of the day. Like that like I'm not saying all governments are fascist, but that's how they're relating the government in this scenario.
Yeah, absolutely. And it doesn't have to go as far as fascist, just authoritarian.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, you're right. You're exactly right.
But,
God, my mind just goes like I just skip to authoritarian all the way. Like it's just all fascism all the time.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Okay, so then now he's in a very toxic relationship with Makima as far as his motivations go.
He wants to touch tits. He wants to kiss.
Exactly.
He wants to touch her butt.
Yep, and he's putting himself in awkward situations, you know what I'm saying?
Like hanging out with Aki, which is another dude that's obsessed with him. And the thing about Aki is like Aki's the guy with the man bun.
The alfalfa.
Yeah. He's got like a little ponytail, and like he's got the exact same motivations as Denji's. Like he's doing it to appease Makima because Makima's just got all these men under their damn thumb.
It's the one that got him there. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
But like Aki has this motivation that like most devil hunters have that work for the government is that they want to get close and kill the gun devil because the gun devil in a span of like 24 hours killed like almost 2 million people across the globe.
How many people have died in the United States since the Columbine?
Lot.
Almost,
not 2 million.
Not 2 million?
But like I think that's the metaphor that they're going for.
Yeah,
that's the language they're using. Yeah. It's like how many people have died from gun death?
Yeah, such a small time frame.
That's what they're saying. Is that like the gun devil is a direct personification of people's misdeeds, not the misdeeds of devils in particular. Yeah. So like,
but it's the transvestite is a trans community soul, right?
Yeah. Honestly, I'm glad you brought that up because like. I am absolutely I'm not sure I've had a favorite politician since like the primaries that Bernie Sanders was running in, which like as an audience, I'm not trying to push that on you. Like, if anybody's watched us for 140 episodes, you know, like, how I feel about most things at this point.
Even if we get like searched by Tate searches and stuff, this is not it.
We show up on a lot of Andrew Tate searches for whatever reason. Maybe it's because my name's Andrew, but like, it's not the reason. But like, whoa, don't look at me. It's
your fault.
It's my fault. But like, these Tennessee state representatives that were ejected for demonstrating
Jones and
the other one, that were ejected for that were kicked out of the Tennessee House of Representatives for demonstrating with their constituents that were like protesting against like guns being so widely available, and they wanted better, more sensible gun control. They immediately were put back in their positions, and now they're unimpeachable by that same body that just got rid of them. And today they were absolutely roasting this group of nonsensical, like, cancel culture, RNA loving, what's transphobic, but what's the critical race theory loving,
hating.
They were debating a bill about critical race theory, and just this old white guy was just up there in the Tennessee chamber, just being like, "This is why we need critical race theory in school. We can't teach about slavery or like Japanese internment camps or like any of the bad shit that's ever been done."
So will Spunka too.
They shit on him.
So
will
like fucking Spunka.
Oh my god, they speak amazing.
Yeah,
and they're young. They're like our age. They're like 2 or 3 years younger than us. And they're just up there, just grilling, just absolutely tossing these people that are like, well, I don't gotta answer that because all I answer to is God and religion. And he's like, listen, I know scripture better than you do, so let me teach you something for a sec. I was like, oh my god, I'm watching a TikTok about like C-SPAN, and I'm absolutely geeking on my couch at like 8 a.m. this morning. Love those guys. They're amazing. Yeah. Anyways, fascism bad.
Authoritarian too.
That was the point I was trying to make with all that.
And then, so we get to the motel. Hotel.
Honestly, can we talk about my favorite scene in the manga? Like, I was memeing and posting.
Ones. Okay.
Not the feet one, the ball kicking.
Yes.
So Aki takes Denji out on patrol, and he just like kicks him. He punches him, throws a cigarette on him, spits on him. He's like, "Stay the fuck away from Makima. She's mine.
You're better off.
You're a bitch. Like, I don't want you anywhere near my woman." Blah, blah, blah. And then like Denji stands up and just starts kicking the shit out of Aki in the nuts. And then, like, that's how they get along. This is where they start respecting each other. It's just like, Denji has no morality code. He grew up homeless, with no parents, just working for the Yakuza. You think that guy has moral values? Absolutely not. Like, you come at him, he's just gonna...
Come at you, too.
He's just gonna kick you in the nuts 30 times. As hard as humanly possible.
And if you want to get a beer afterwards, then you get a beer afterwards.
Yeah. Just, like, be like, oh, my bad, dude. Like, if you can stand up, he'll put you on his shoulder, and, like, you can go for a beer afterwards. And that's, like, my favorite scene, because, like, the panel is literally... In the English manga version, it's Aki on Denji's shoulder, and they go back to Miss Makima's office.
What the hell happened to him?
What happened to him? Oh, sorry, he was kicked. He was attacked by the Nut Devil, which is hilarious. But like all the other interpretations call it something that's like the Ball Devil, the Testicle Devil. Nut Devil is the funniest version, and like it should only be called Nut Devil. It's so funny.
It's pretty hilarious. Anyways, and then. So, yeah, Maki and him get along. He gets introduced to Power, who's a fiend, who promised him a
She's kind of underpowered for what you would think, like, a blood fiend is. Like,
well, she gets anemia, which I thought it was really cool, like, science of it. I'm like, you have, like, at the end of the anime, like, when they're training with the other dude, it's like, well, you had her use all weapons in blood. Of course, she's gonna fucking pass out. I'm like, true. And
that's what sucks though, because like she's the blood devil or the blood fiend, but she only has control over her own blood.
But then again, she is limited for the human body.
Yeah. So like, it's only her own volume. She can't take on. But like, she's still a devil, and like. That's something we haven't described. Is that like devils gain power or can regenerate if they drink blood?
Correct.
If they eat, it's the vampire effect.
Yeah,
it's the vampire tactic, I guess. But like Denji, which like I think it's cool that they do mention in episode 1, because when he turns into Chainsaw Man, it's literally chainsaws busting out of like his forearms and like his forehead. It's damaging him physically. It's literally chainsaws coming out of his body. So, like, just him activating his power has, like, a threshold on how much stamina, like, it takes. So even though, like, he's devil adjacent. He's honestly, a lot of times he's better off just like attacking somebody with a regular axe.
Yeah.
Because he's just gonna like take a huge chunk out of his stamina if he just activates his devil powers. It's kind of like the Denji effect. The Deku effect. I guess, because it's like, oh, I can't, like, I need to go 60% all for one right now, but I kind of can't, because then I'm just gonna like start hurting myself. Yeah. I can't go too big too early.
Yeah.
Which is cool, because like you think like old shonens, like Dragon Ball, for example, like they would always like minorly scale up. You know what I mean? Just like, oh, there's a new villain, gonna go attack him in Super Saiyan 1. Oh, got my ass kicked. Here I go in Super Saiyan 2. Oh, got my ass kicked. Here I go in Super Saiyan 3. Oh, I won. Why didn't you just start with Super Saiyan 3? Like, why did we have that other bullshit in between?
I don't know.
I was just toying with him. I thought I could do it. But as opposed to like these other ones, it's explaining why you can't go big fast.
Right.
Unless you have to. And like,
I always go big fast.
is that why you have 2 kids?
Hey, I'll hear between nerds.
It like Denji's goals, his dreams are so like minute and like ground level for so long, and I think that's why like he starts feeling growth, because he knows Pochita's living in himself and is his heart. And like the first time he defeats his own fiend, besides when he defeated the zombie devil, it's because like a beetle fiend like attacked a family, and like he tried to kill him without making a mess, because he just wanted to take his porn magazines. That was his only motivation. So like, oh well, Pochita wanted me to live my dream, so I'm just gonna go take all these Japanese Playboy magazines home. But then when he self-reflects on it, he's like, this is a stupid dream, isn't it?
But then yeah, and then I like that you pointed that out, because on the topic of being noir, he was like top detective in that room. He was the one that saw the porn mags. He's like, I probably shouldn't make this bloody as hell, because I want to
can't activate my chainsaws right now.
But it was something that like you would see like in a Batman movie. It's like, oh, they didn't notice this wood crack over here because this is where the weapon hit. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my god.
You know what I'm saying? But this kid is just horny, and he just looks for horny clues. It's great.
Horny clues.
You gotta look out for those. Look out.
and then like, so that's like the mid-range sword until we get to the motel. You know what I mean? So we learn about the gun devil, and like we learned that like it killed Aki's family, and that's why he's in the Secret Service or whatever, and that's what Makima's after, because like a lot of devils are showing up with like pieces or chunks of gun devil flesh, and that's what's making them super powered. You know what I mean? That was like a thing in like Power Rangers in space, where it's just like, oh no, why is that guy big and going strong and evil? Oh, you know what? That's like the gears from Digimon.
Yeah.
Oh no, why is Tyrannomon going mean? He's usually such a nice Digimon.
It's like, oh no, he's
got the black gear in him. Oh no. So that's what's essentially. Oh god, I hate Digimon.
Yeah, I hate Digimon.
I hate season 1 of Digimon Adventure. It's so bad. But like that's like the plot from here on out, because it's just like we have to go after the high-powered devils, because they probably have a piece of gun devil flesh. And if we get enough pieces of gun devil flesh together,
and if you think about it, it's also like Demon Slayer with what's his name? Marino? No, what's his name?
The origin of all demons.
Yeah, it's like the level, the blood that they have.
To make a cure for Nezuko, we need to get blood.
Also like fucking Dio.
It's exactly like Dio. Oh my god, anime! It's all related. It's all related.
It's great.
But oh god, I'm forgetting something. There's
the gun devil particles.
What? Okay, super hilarious, memeable scene that's everywhere, and I know you've seen it before if you're watching this video, because like it was on TikTok, it's on YouTube, it's everywhere. Is that like after Power sells out Denji and the Bat Devil almost kills him? Denji kills the Bat Devil. The Bat Devil's lover, the Leech Devil, comes and gets him. Aki defeats him using his contract with the Fox Devil. But the deal that Power made with Denji was that, like, if you help me get back Meowie, her cat, then she'll let Denji get 3 gropes of her chest.
Yeah.
So then they do that. She's sitting on a toilet where everyone just is pooping, shitting, and pissing. And
she's taking mean shits too.
Shit, yes, that is a thing that is introduced. That Power's out here taking mean ass shits in this apartment, she sits down and is like, okay, I will allow thou to feel at my chest.
He was cleaning the toilet because of her.
And he still got horny because of her.
Exactly.
This fucking degenerate. Oh my god.
He's like scrubbing. She walks into the restroom. He's like, oh, look who walked in, Miss Concrete Chick, who leaves it all stuck up in the toilet. And he's like, he's like, hey, stupid, shut up. Put that scrub down. It's like, I'm here so
it's
you can...
time to feel up my chest, nerd.
Yeah, it's time to feel my chest. She's like, ugh. And they go pretty horny with it.
They go really horny with it.
They go pretty horny with it.
It's even like
I'm watching this in daytime, bro. Like, I'm
his child sitting right there.
Yeah,
like,
he loved it. No, well, he's watching the entire anime. But you know what I'm saying? It's crazy. Crazy. He was dancing on the intro. It was great.
It is a great intro.
We're talking about the intro. We're talking about how the intro is really good. I didn't skip it probably once, nor the outro.
Nope.
Because my son would dance and go apeshit every single time it would play.
No, the intro's amazing. Like, it charted, it topped, like, and, like, I think what people like the most is that, like, it's got, like, OVA qualities to it. Like, it's, like, clips and quips of, like, Chainsaw Man characters from other, like, high-profile American films.
And that's, like, the first half of the intro.
Yeah.
Like, when have we talked about a separate half to an intro? Like,
No.
we never talked about... That's the first half of the intro. The first half of the intro is, like, a movie buff reference, like, lore.
Yeah.
The lore. You know
like,
what I'm
it's
saying?
Reservoir Dogs. It's
Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Pulp Fiction, Neon Genesis Evangelion, Big Lebowski, and No Country for Old Men. A lot of them, you know.
But like all of these references are also related to like the actual plot of
and
Chainsaw
theme
Man.
of the movie.
Yeah. So like especially in the first half, like what Aldo's talking about, it's about like Makima's mind controlling of Denji and like all this like phallic imagery and like all this emasculating energy about like the reason why like both him and Aki are going along with everything Makima says is because they're just dudes about it. You know what I mean? So like, and the one I think about the most is like the Big Lebowski one where they're just like aggressively scrubbing the shit out of bowling balls, and like that's like literally a masculine piece of imagery.
Yeah, even on the back of the manga, like you have him wearing like a dog collar almost. You know what I'm saying? It's wild. It's wild. The intro's so good. The song, it's amazing. I started singing it last week. While we were recording. You were saying on TikTok, not on TikTok, on Twitter, that you had more fun binging the show than actually watching it week to week.
No, I did. It's because, like, you know me, like, for somebody that's so in love with, like, nerd topics and, like, nerd imagery, and especially because, like, the modern American nerd is so, like, enthralled with Japanese anime media, like, I can't stand experiencing things with these people. Like they're like nerds are just nerds about it. Like they're so just cringe and just like terrible. But like when I get to treat it as like a comfort anime, a plot I already know because I've read like 120 damn chapters of the Chainsaw Man manga. Like it's such like it's like if I'm having a bad day, if I'm having a bad week, I could totally see myself just like
turning the shit on and having fun with it.
Right. It's Friday night. Like, sorry, Aldo, I can't go out today. Sorry, whoever. Like, I'm not going anywhere. I'm not doing anything. It's me and my dogs, a dark room, like a dozen beers for myself, and Chainsaw Man. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sorry. Like,
no.
And you get it. You
I
like
get it.
if you explain it that way, everyone will understand exactly what you're saying.
And you know what? I didn't think of it as I never saw Chainsaw Man week to week. I don't know if you finished it that way. Finished it that way? Okay.
I did. Me and Karen did.
Okay, so like me, the first time watching it, I'm binging it, in 3 days.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So
you're a lot better at binging than I am, if we're being completely honest.
I can understand why though, because a lot of the episodes, especially like after the second half, start getting painful at the end.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like you are left in a dark pit of emptiness. You know what I'm saying? You're left with,
and that's why Denji is such like a happy idiot, and that's why he's perfect, like being the main character, because it's like, bro, like it's literally the world's fears personified that you're fighting every day, and he's just a happy idiot about it. He's like, I might get to touch tits. This is the best thing I've ever fucking done in my life. This is great. Like,
optimist guy.
Yeah. Just like the less you know, the better. Like the stupider you are, the more you just get to go along with life.
Because what I found interesting that I was finding joy on having the ability to watch the next episode right after.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
because it does leave you in like, especially when you're fighting Katana for the first time. The
Katana Man, yeah.
Yeah, you know, the Katana Devil. It's wild because it just becomes like, I know we fucking meme on the chat on the group chat about this movie all the time, especially Dami, but The Departed. It just feels like the ending of Departed on episode 6. Like, everybody's fucking dying left and right.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And it feels like, whoa, what the fuck? Makima just got assassinated. Like, the annoying girl got assassinated.
Himeno just died. Aki's about to die. Yeah. Denji might be dead.
And what we know right now and what we don't know after is crazy because we only know that the Gun Devil hired these people, the Katana one and the Snake one, the little girl, to get Denji's heart. So now we have like this Pulp Fiction thing of like the briefcase kind of scenario. Like
yes.
His heart is a briefcase scenario. Why? We don't know.
It's also like Pulp Fiction like that a little bit. You know what I mean? Because like in Pulp Fiction, we're at the end. Like the movie starts at the end where like just people are dying and shit's going wrong. And that's how episode 6 feels. We're like, whoa. Relax. I've got half a season. Why are all the characters you just made me fall in love with like dying and falling over? Like you guys need to relax right now. This isn't what I know about anime because like Deku's still alive 1,000 chapters later. Can we keep it like that? Like
yeah.
And that's the thing about Chainsaw Man because like it's so like graphic. It's graphic in like a disgusting way sometimes, but it's also like it feels like high art because it's something I've never even thought about. Like it's something like a 16-year-old boy having a drunk woman throw up in his mouth and he swallows it
after kissing.
After kissing is something I can't even think of. Like literally, like I could sit down all day, every day, trying every creative technique possible to try to come up with something that graphic off the top of my head, and I could never accomplish that.
And I knew because of panels you see on the internet and shit like that. And even when I saw it, I was like, "Oh fuck, it's so well placed too." Like
they're out drinking. Damn. It's a social. It's a work social event.
And I was just gonna point. That's funny they brought it up because I was just gonna bring. I was like, you know what? We didn't even bring up like the relationship with these people at the hotel, motel, whatever, where the Infinity Devil, the Holiday Inn. When we're at the hotel with the Infinity Demon.
Was it Eternity or Infinity?
Eternity, I believe.
So, like, this is the episode after Makima essentially sexually harasses a 16-year-old, if we're being completely honest. Because, like, the series of those episodes is, like, Denji is saved by Aki when he defeats the Leech Devil. Power lets him feel up her tits. Denji is very, very disappointed by like filling up those tits because they're full of bra padding, and he fucking hates Power. So why would he want to fill up her tits anyways?
You know what it felt like? Like when I spoiled you on Berserk.
Yes, that's exactly what that's like.
That's exactly what it felt like.
Like, damn.
I had to let it go because it was happening so often. Of like knowing that he's a 16-year-old.
Yeah.
And like him getting in these situations.
Yep.
Like I was like, okay, we're gonna fucking do this like the entire time. Let's fucking go.
Yep. Yep. And like going from that disappointing to like I don't know if you notice it when they sign documents, they do like a little stamp. Mm-hmm. And I was watching a whole TikTok about that because they physically do not do a signature like me and you do. Like if you're gonna sign a credit card, you have to have your little fucking stamp with you, and you gotta be like boop.
It's like the stamp for the what do you call those people? The people
like the seals and stuff like that.
The people that it's at the post office. What do you call those?
Yeah. You know
what I'm talking about.
When you get like an official document signed, when you get like your lease signed, when you get like a notarized, a notary, yeah. So like, but like that's everybody, and that's how they do their signature, right? And I was watching this TikTok about like how like if you lose that stamp, you're just boned for like life. Because it's irreplaceable essentially, and like they're trying to move away from that because that's totally like some 1820s Japanese bullshit.
That's how you'll see the same stamps in paintings. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like it's always been a fucking thing.
Right? Yeah, and like so Japan's like trying to get away from that, but still, like if you sign your lease or if you sign your mortgage, like it's still like that, so it's still a big issue. But like, so Denji's just signing these papers, and like, okay, like I defeated the Bat Devil and the Leech Devil, and like all this damage happened. He's just signing paperwork.
What I was gonna say is that in this Infinity, with this Infinity Devil,
We'll go back.
okay,
Sexual
go.
harassment
I'm sorry.
of Makima.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go
right,
ahead.
but right before
Harassment.
that,
I'm sorry.
harassment.
Right,
Just let me finish that scene.
Right.
This scene is also very, very important because you see all these desperate loser nerds like on the internet just geeking about this one scene. It's the scene where Makima, where we don't even know her age, she essentially bites down sexually on Denji's finger when he's openly complaining about like feeling up Power's boobs and like it's disappointing, and then she mounts him essentially, like out of like fear and being uncomfortable because a grown woman is nibbling on his finger. He falls down on the ground. She mounts him, squats on top of like his pelvic region, and is just like, listen. That's where she spoils everything about the Gun Devil, and she's like, if you get as many pieces of the Gun Devil as possible, and you defeat the Gun Devil, I will give you whatever you want, horny 16-year-old boy. And you know there's only one thing he's thinking about. He's like, anything? And she's like,
Show me your
anything.
boobs.
And like the way, that's something, oh God.
Just say it.
I almost said that's something that the anime does better than the manga, is the... Oh, God, I don't even want to say it. Is the sexualization of Makima. It, like, I feel, like, fake character, it's anime, it's a cartoon, I understand that. But, like, the way in the manga, it's just kind of implied. The only thing the anime does different is they'll put in extra scenes of just her ass. There's just like her ass in like 2-second like clips that you just almost don't even think about. But subconsciously at a certain point you're just like, the bitch with the ass, that's her. That's her.
That's the evil one.
That's the evil one. That's the one that we gotta look out for.
No, but like, I don't think you should have felt bad saying it, because in this particular story, Makima happens to be a female who is a villain, as far as we know.
We don't know that.
Yeah, but
in
like
season 1, technically, we don't know that.
We have finished it already, and you know, we have finished the first season already. Like, we know, we're not stupid. We've seen anime before. We can point out a villain.
I don't know why her eyes look like that.
Anyways, but like, what I was gonna say is that like, it's almost, think of it as a evil. What's that rabbit from Beastars?
God, I can't remember her name. Yes, okay.
Whatever. Like, it's almost like an evil her, because she's using her sexuality to do evil things.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it doesn't surprise me that she's like, oh, let me just get this little 16-year-old Haru. It's almost like an evil Haru. It's like, let me get this little boy to do whatever I want.
Yes.
You know?
Yes, which is terrible because
it's terrible.
So that's where we go into the motel scene. He's like, I'm gonna go kill something that has some Gun Devil flesh.
But to your point, before we go jump into that, she is sexualized, but I think it means something, because she is at the end of the day manipulating him.
Because it's through that noir lens that you were talking about. Like, they sexualize her, but like you just feel from the very beginning that there's like something we just don't know. That there's just something big and scary that we just don't know about this woman. It's like Bond with
she's shown like, oh, what's up, Mr. Bond?
Yeah, it's just it's a James Bond girl. Like, you just know she's bad. You know she's gonna like go home with him anyways, and you know that like she's gonna just fuck him over in the third act.
Great,
like that's every James
reference.
Bond like
Yes.
woman, right? And we understand that.
Yes.
And like we accept it because they're hot.
Couldn't have said it better.
right, and that's it. So that's Makima. She's a James Bond woman villain thing, and then like we're just out here in an eternal void because we're trapped in an alternate dimension because of the Eternity Devil inside of a motel.
And to my point, now that I can pick up right here, what I was talking about, like what makes this like a super good horror is the decisions that people make when they're like backs against the wall or whatever, they need to get a hand up in it, something. This is something that maybe Demon Slayer missed, that they could have used the situation to even pin 2 Demon Slayers against each other. You know? Because here we have an agency that are devil hunters, and they really thought about killing Denji to save their own asses.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Just because Denji is half a devil and they
kind
don't
of,
fuck with it.
sort of,
You know what I'm saying? It's like if like, well, they did kind of in Demon Slayer where they wanted to kill Nezuko, but that would have just killed her and not do anything.
Right.
But like in here, like they almost killed Denji for it. And that's what I'm saying. Like, it gets fucking fucked up because people are like, hold him down, hold him down.
What?
Like, imagine the people you were just chilling, like,
Well, that's
10 hours ago.
That episode, those couple episodes where they're just trapped in the motel because of the Eternity Devil, and like they don't know what's going on and they can't get out, and they're in an alternate dimension, like a pocket dimension, essentially, is like it reminds me of. It reminds me of like Saw, kind of in a weird way. When like Saw
The second one?
like the first one, even where they're just like trapped in a restroom and there's like, what? I don't know what's going on.
It just reminds me of the second one because it was more group led than anything.
Okay, I get what you mean. I get what you mean.
Yeah.
But you get that sense, you know what I mean? Where it's like, we got to get out together. The guy on the fucking VHS tape said to kill one of you, and I get to get out of here.
So
maybe let's do that because I'm tired of being trapped inside of a motel for forever. But the way they portray that also is like that's where
it was Saw 2 because they were stuck in a fucking living building.
Yes,
in a
that
building.
is Saw 2. I love the Saws.
Wow.
Saws 1 through like 7 are like my shit.
Really, I never watched anything after 3.
I've seen every Saw.
Yeah,
I've seen every Saw.
yeah.
Love all of them.
I haven't seen the one with
so
Chris
much.
Rock either.
That one's not bad. That one's good. That
Was
one's really
it?
good. The recent one, that one's
Yeah,
really,
I think
really,
so. I think
that
it was-
one's really, really good. To be honest.
Yeah, but it was the same thing. Duh.
Yeah. But and that's the thing is that like that narratively gives us enough space to get backstory on a lot of these characters. That's where we get the Aki backstory. That's where we meet Himeno, who's got like one eye because like part of her contract was she gave her eye to the Ghost Devil, and she gets like a phantom arm that she can summon essentially, which is a cool power. That's a pretty cool power. But like this is where we learn like how like we don't know anything about Aki. We just know that Power and Denji have been living in his apartment, and that he's a neat freak, and that he's obsessed with Makima, and that his family died from the Gun Devil.
I don't think he was a neat freak. He was just a regular person. The other two people
Just not
were
a
the
pigsty.
fucking the other two people were the fucking pigs.
Right, okay.
Yeah,
you get what I mean. You get what I mean.
No.
It like this is where we learn like why he stays with the Gun Devil agency is because it's because of Himeno. It's because when we get the first flashback on Himeno, like her partner died, her whole crew died, like, and she's just bandaged up. Her arm's in a sling. She's got scars and bandages and all this stuff. And she like outside of missing an eye, she's supposed to be like a beautiful woman, but she works for the Devil Hunter agency. And like her taking on this 17, 18-year-old guy who was Aki at the time and teaching him everything he knows about devil hunting. And it's not only that, it's that like it's the effect that that Roberto has in Trigun Stampede, where it's like, why are you always drinking and smoking? Because, dude, I'm in a dangerous line of work. I'm gonna die either way. Like, I don't give a shit. Yeah. She forces him. She pressures this 16, 17-year-old guy to start smoking cigarettes and pick up a drinking habit.
It's like being in the service industry.
It's exactly like being in the service industry. So, but like she's maturing him so quickly to the point that she like robbed him of like his adolescence a little bit. Like he had a few more years and she kind of took it from him. But it's not only that, she did it to like protect him and to get closer to him, because the more close she feels to her partner, the better she can protect them.
Right.
Which sucks because it's also like, now that he's grown and we see the results of that kind of coaching and teaching, we see why he's such a hard ass and why he's always smoking cigarettes. And you see them doing indirect kisses all the time, and they have, because they share cigarettes, and they have like this bond that they can't entirely like grasp or close because they're coworkers, but like they also grew up with each other in a sort of weird way. Like she cuddles him when they lay down in the motel. He's like it's kind of closely related, but not the same, to the Denji and Power relationship. So the types of Chainsaw Man fans I can't stand the most are people that admittedly have read all of part 1 of Chainsaw Man, know how it ends, and still ship...
Be mad at it?
Well, but still ship Denji and Power.
Oh.
Because a big part of what will probably be adapted in season 2 is that Power's like his sister, dude. Like, you know, how many people did you
It's
like...
just two garbage kids.
Right. Like, we just have similar struggles, dude. Like, I'm not attracted to her or nothing.
It's Lon Duck Millionaire.
Yeah. Exactly like that. Like, it's just, dude, like, that's like my platonic sister. You're being creepy, like, marketing it like that. And that's kind of adjacent to how Himeno and Aki are. Because, like, they could be something. But Aki's kind of so one-sided in both like his obsession with Makima and his infatuation with like killing the gun devil, avenging his family, that he can't see what's already in front of him. He already has everything he would have ever wanted directly in front of him, but like he can't see it like that. And that's like the tragedy of somebody like Himeno.
Yeah, he gets ED at one point. He can't call it. He can't call.
Oh, Denji?
Yeah, no, not Denji. Aki. He can't call him to the fox demon.
Oh my god!
Because he worked them up so hard.
Well, they were also in like a pocket dimension and stuff like that. So like so that's where we get all of Himeno's backstory and all of Aki's backstory. And but like that is one of my favorite fights in the manga. Because again, it's something I could never think about in a million years. How do you defeat Eternity? Like how do you, if you're living inside
you
of
get a horny 16-year-old.
You get
First
a
of all,
demonic 16-year-old.
Yeah, horny demonic.
That's the worst kind of horny. Yeah. That's the absolute worst kind of horny. Yeah. And like they find the Eternity Devil's core, like they find his stomach inside of the elevator, and after being there for several days, essentially, and it's just like the Eternity Devil can regenerate forever and can keep like reproducing his flesh and keep them in this pocket dimension forever, but he still feels pain when the Chainsaw Man like literally cuts at him. Yeah. And we already explained that like Denji, using his chainsaw powers, uses up his blood stamina to the point that he can't do that indefinitely. But the only way to regenerate devil powers is by eating blood. Devils don't normally eat devils because they're kind of gross and it's like same species stuff.
And I was going to point that out too. I like that because that's like, I can't remember from what vampire lore that is. But vampire lore is that you cannot drink the blood of someone that is dead. Because it's not the same thing, you know what I'm saying? It's like,
right.
You can survive off rats, but it's not gonna be as good as crispy human blood. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I love that because at one point I was like, it's kind of like a cheat that you can also eat the devil's blood because you can. Chainsaws are gonna create blood, obviously, so he just has like this glitch of infinite power, which happens here.
Yeah, but he's grossed out by it. But something about like Denji is that like a screw's fucking loose. You know what I mean? It's just like, dude, I'm tired of being locked up in here.
I can't wait for the next toast with jam.
Yes, I am going to cut you forever, Mr. Eternity Devil. If you're gonna keep regenerating for all of eternity, and I can keep drinking your blood for all of eternity, even though it's disgusting, I will keep doing so just to torture you for all of eternity. It's like literally being in hell. That's the metaphor here. He is in the pit of hell, but instead of succumbing to his own punishment, he is dishing out the punishment to like the person that put him here. And like we hear for 3 days, he's just cutting and eating and cutting and eating the Eternity Devil. To a certain point, the Eternity Devil is like, dude, fuck it. Done. Like, you have cut me nonstop for 3 days, and you've devoured my blood, and it's never gonna end unless I just show you my heart, show you my core, show you my gun devil flesh. So please just cut me and kill me and take it and just be done with it. Like, I can't do it anymore. And that's like literally an apt metaphor for both the Eternity Devil and like what it means to be what like I understand hell to be is something like that.
Yeah. The Dante's hell, that's what
Dante's Inferno. Yeah.
That's the one that makes more sense to me, if anything. But why would the guy who defied God punish you for defying God? Who knows? You know what I'm saying? So
I don't know. Well, I'm God, I can't remember the point I was about to make too. Is that oh wow, I totally lost it.
Well, I was talking about like how everybody starts getting killed, right?
Yeah.
And then the girl with the eye patch, what's her name again?
Himeno.
Himeno.
Oh, can we talk about the scene inside of the motel with Kobani though?
Yes. So after she pukes in
that
his
is
mouth,
Kobani inside of the motel. That's what I was gonna say.
Which one?
Kobani's the crazy chick, the small one.
Oh, yes,
that cries a lot.
Yes.
That is absolutely my favorite scene in every fucking language that this comes out in.
Yeah.
Like, because like you've seen, I've seen at least like every dub of this scene in every language on like TikTok, Twitter, they're just everywhere. I don't know what came over Studio Map and they'd be like, hey, can we hire good voice actors? And they did it in every fucking language.
Hey, Ghibli's been doing that shit forever.
Ghibli too. Honestly, I think that's a really good point too, because they've always brought like good actors like right before their prime.
Honestly, like that's the best decision as a studio production in Japan to appeal, just like the shit that we were talking about with Mr. Beast. Like I told you how he has his videos captioned like in a shitload of languages.
Yeah.
Like it makes sense to put in that to break down that language barrier.
Right. But, like, the scene that's great in every language is Kobani just losing her shit after being there for several days inside of a motel. And in English, it's just kind of like, I know what you are. You are all secretly devils, and you're all secretly against me. But, like, she's got a knife in her hand. You see these other characters and their reactions, and it's just ugly and gory. It feels like something out of a gore movie. That's like literally when the woman character we've seen, like, fighting against the slasher the whole movie, she snaps herself. And that was the plot of the whole movie at the end of the day, was just like, we could be that villain if we were just tilted over the edge a little bit.
Absolutely.
And that's like the story of Kobani.
Yeah.
So once we leave the motel, you know what I mean? Like, it's a hilarious scene because they're all fucked up. They've all been trapped inside of the Eternity Devil's motel for like 5 days. Denji's
like a bad bender.
Yeah, like a bad bender. Blood included. Like, Denji's got like 3 days worth of Eternity Devil blood on him. And like, he's like, oh, I can't wait to get back to headquarters so that Makima can give me a head pat. Yeah. And then we immediately go from there to getting beers with the group, you know what I mean? Workplace celebratory beers on Makima's tab. Okay, cool. I'll get 7 pints with with my coworkers if you're paying, whatever.
And to me, it didn't dawn on me yet until this episode when they go out drinking with the boss, because like he's like, oh yeah, I'm 16. Yeah, it's like, wait, what?
They mentioned it in like the first 10 seconds in episode 1. It's not brought up for like 8 episods.
Yeah, and then now we're here and he's drinking like iced tea. He's like, yeah, I've been drinking iced tea. He's like, what do you mean?
Yeah, weirdos. I'm 16. I can't drink with them. And like the drinking age is only 20 in Japan, which is only a year, but still.
And to the point where like this anime really does get horny, it's because the way they went about like the whole Himeno, like her getting tipsy, that's exactly how it happens. Like out in public, out in real world. You know what I'm saying?
Honestly, and I think your intro is like really apt because like it's I related it to, it's about like not trusting people and women because you're horny, and that's like the story in Chainsaw Man. It's essentially like, don't trust any decision you make while horny. Like essentially like Himeno going into the motel was like, oh, if you defeat this devil with the gun devil flesh, then I'll give you a kiss. Horny as Denji, yeah, gotta get a kiss. Here I go. And then like the whole night he's thinking like, oh, that's the girl I'm gonna kiss because I defeated the devil with the gun devil flesh. And then she gets fucked up and it's just a sloppy mess, embarrasses him in public, throws up in his mouth in front of the girl that he actually wants to hook up with, which is Makima.
Give me a nickel.
He'd have at least a dozen nickels.
I'll have 2 nickels. But it's
weird.
Yo! But it's weird that it happened twice, right?
And like, and it's sad because like you feel for the guy because he's 16, and like he this girl throws up in his mouth and he starts drinking, like, because all the adults will buy him beers because he's so sad that in public this woman that he wanted to make out with just threw up in his mouth in front of everybody, that he gets himself drunk and now he's throwing up and his stomach hurts because he's young and can't drink like that, and now he's embarrassing himself all over again. And then Makima's just there, and she's like essentially blind, sober, even drinking all night with them. I don't know how that's possible, but then she shows empathy, or it's not even real empathy. What's fake empathy? Sympathy. She shows sympathy. It's like, here's this like fresh lollipop. It's sweet, it's tender, and it's
because Denji's worried that his first experience with a kiss having a throw up back taste of it, it's gonna always remind him of like puke whenever he kisses another girl. So like Makima almost being, like you said, empathetic, she's being sympathetic, she's like, shut up, like, I'm gonna again use my sexuality to like control you, like I'm gonna give you the lollipop that I'm sucking on right now and I'm putting in your mouth. And he's again a horny dude and he's just like
it's like it's a clitoris.
Exactly.
It's a metaphor for a clitoris.
Exactly. Where is it? Who knows?
and then it gets worse. So we go from that scene to where he feels kind of better, but then immediately from there, it's just like Himeno just like abducts him because he's drunk and fucked up and 16, throws him over her shoulder, carries him back to her place. She's still all fucked up and still drinking at her place, and just mounts him in the middle of the night while he's already hungover and drunk and thirsty and asking for water.
Oh, dude, that's sad, brother.
It's sad. It's sad because like this is the thing. Like when you hear like nasty ass old dudes talking about like younger girls, is that they don't understand the thing about like statutory rape and what it means to be to be overbearing on somebody younger than you. Like you have influence over them, and you see them in this scene. Himeno, who's a grown-ass adult, like is literally mounting a 16-year-old. He's nervous, he's shy, he's never actually been with a woman like that before.
But he's glad he's in a bed in an apartment somewhere.
Yes, because he's desperate and ugly, and he doesn't know better. Yeah. That's the thing about that, and that's that's the thing that caught up Kobe Bryant. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, as ugly and sad as that is.
Yeah, he changed from 8 to what?
Stop. Stop.
No.
Anyways, so then, like, and that's, like, what's sad about that story is that, like, thankfully, some sense of morality or some gift from the universe or some peak intuition that he just has, he kind of deflects it. Like, once Himeno finds the lollipop on him.
But it's out of context too.
Yeah,
it's very out of context because like as Denji, and they even cut it from like the end of one episode to the beginning of the other one, where it's from the perspective of Denji, and then the beginning of the next episode is from the perspective of Himeno.
Yeah,
and then when she finds that lollipop, we go to a flashback of like what happened with Makima, Makima, which again is not a great scenario either. Like it's also manipulation through your sexuality as a woman and her being a villain. But we then continue from that scene into breakfast.
Yeah,
and Himeno is like, oh shit, I was so drunk.
Oh, that's so weird that I was drunk. I blacked out. I hope I didn't like accidentally hook up with you or anything.
And then she's like, nah, it's like I got your skank ass off of me.
Yeah, I put you to bed, I rolled you the fuck off of me, and that was it.
Right. And then to the point of like being super evil like that.
It's sad.
It's sad because fuck, even just him waking up and his first words being like, I need water, like he's in a bad spot.
He's in a real bad spot.
He's in a real bad spot.
Just throwing up all night, he's drunk, like he's I know what that's like. You know what I mean? Like that's awful. And then like all she does is press over against him. And then like it's also kind of sweet though because like she's like, I'm really glad nothing happened. Like, you know what I mean? I think that means something because she's like, I would have felt bad if something happened.
I guess I don't know. It just feels weird that it's off context because then I don't feel like it's a victory against like sex violence. You know what I'm saying? Like sexual assault.
It's not a win for...
I wish it would have been more like, you know what? No, and be in context. I don't know. Maybe I'm being a fucking woke ass about it.
I do get what you mean.
You know
I
get
what you mean. Like, it's a pro for their friendship because they're like, hey, not trying to hook up with you anyways. Like, honestly, I'm trying to hook up with Aki. Can we be friends, though?
It's like the whole thing of, like, let's not talk about it ever again.
Yeah.
You know?
But, like, it's also kind of evil because she's an adult and maybe she should own up to, like, her actions a little bit. Like, being drunk's not an excuse.
Well, she kind of does, but she's like, oh, my God, imagine I would have had sex with you. I would have gone to jail.
But it's like a joke.
Yeah,
it's
a joke.
It's not that funny.
Yeah.
But then that very same episode is the scene everybody fucking dies, like you were saying. Like,
yeah, is The Departed. Is the end of The Departed. The episode the episode ends with Makima and another agent being like shot in the head, and then it ends, and then it picks up on what led to that almost.
They're getting and it's also juxtaposed over like our core group of Special Division 4, like Power, Denji, Himeno, and Aki. They're having breakfast, right? They're getting morning breakfast, noodles, brunch, whatever. And then somebody that like was the grandson of the Yakuza boss that Denji killed was just kind of like, hey, I fucking know you, Denji. Do you remember my grandpa? Yeah, I know your grandpa. Who are you, weirdo? And then he just opens up a gun and just starts blasting all of them. Like, shoots Himeno in like the gut.
Mm-hmm. You know who we were talking about being desensitized to guns? Like 2 weeks ago.
Oh yeah.
These couple of killings with a gun in Japan, it got me a little bit PTSD. because they're super fucked up deaths.
Yeah.
Even the restaurant one where he's going manic and like he's like, "Hi, I fucking know who you are." It's like you're enjoying yourself so much, and
Look
then
at
he
the picture of
comes
my
up,
fucking grandpa, bro.
and then he comes up, yeah, and he's like, "Ba ba 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 ba," and that's like every like cartel shooting you see like in videos and shit like that. People just popping you in the fucking head when you least expect
You're just
it.
eating breakfast.
Yeah, dude, and it's weird. It's fucking unsettling. Because then again, we hear about the Gun Devil, you know, and we think the Gun Devil's behind all this, which is kind of is, but not really directly.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So essentially, it was a targeted hit that from people that the Gun Devil had like hired, or like a girl that has a contract with the Snake Devil had like through the Gun Devil's influence like kind of hired a bunch of Yakuza members to off everybody in the special divisions. Mm-hmm. So like everybody dies. Like everybody in Special Division 1, 2, and 3 died. Only like half of Special Division 4 is still alive. And like Makima is one of them. And this is where we start like becoming really suspicious of Makima, because like she was on a train from Tokyo to Kyoto to meet up with the brass on that side of the country, and like that's where she died. And then she wakes up after being shot in the head twice, kills everybody that tried to kill her, meets up with her Special Division members in Kyoto, and she's like, "You have to take me to a high vantage point at a shrine and bring me 12 death row inmates so that I can have my way with them." And you're just like, what the fuck? What is it? Like the tone changes so quickly. You're just like, what the fuck?
And it gets set up like that, though.
Yeah, that's exactly what happens. You're just like, what am I watching all of a sudden?
Yeah, it's weird.
Where's the happy-go-lucky chainsaw dude that like is fighting devils with a smile? I miss him.
He's in the soft plot fighting the katana one,
right?
And
so
fighting
that's
like
the
a little
subplot.
girl. Yeah.
So like it's not even him fighting the katana devil at first. It's Aki after like the guy that. So this Yakuza grandson is also somebody with a similar kind of deal that Denji has, where like part of his body is an actual devil, this time the katana devil, that lets him literally turn into the katana devil, but he's still himself.
And what I think Chainsaw Man MAPPA anime did so well is that you didn't even know how you really liked these characters until this episode.
I liked Himeno an episode ago, and now she's just dying on the floor.
Exactly. So now that we get to this episode, you're like, holy shit, this guy's fucking dying, this girl's fucking dying, this guy's fucking dying, Makima's dead, and it does it so well like Demon Slayer does it well. Yes. But Demon Slayer does it as a hate maker move, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, now Rengoku is gonna fucking die. He wasn't supposed to die, he was the one, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But Chainsaw Man did it in the span of 6 episodes, and you didn't even know it was coming.
Nope.
And
even when I was watching it with Karen when it was coming out weekly, she was like, "Are they dead? Are they dying? Why are people getting shot?" Right? Like, because that's not how traditional like storytelling happens. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It's the haymaker at the end, just like this is the gut punch at the end of the movie. But now everybody's dead. This is like one of the few times that you're just like, dude, we have half a season. Mm-hmm. Why is everyone dying right now?
And also the slow death of Himeno too, like
she's just dying on the floor trying to use her ghost devil,
and she's disappearing like limb at a time.
So yeah, that's the thing. That's why she lost her left eye, and she only had power over the ghost devil's right hand. And she's just like, she sees Aki using his rapier looking thing that is empowered by the curse of the cursed devil, where essentially every time he can stab somebody or something 3 times, it takes away half of his current lifespan, but he's guaranteed to kill that person that he's just stabbing the shit out of, like the katana man. But like Himeno sees that and she's like, holy shit, that's like the secret love of my life, and he's just like cutting his life into quarters right now, so I have to stop him. So she makes a deal with the ghost devil, and she's like, Ghost, take all of me, just make sure that Katana Man dies.
And then a part of context that it wasn't put until this episode was of Himeno saying, I've met a lot of demon, a lot of devil hunters in my past, and everybody gets desensitized at one point, but not Aki. Aki, every single time, I will give him shit for running back to his room and crying about what just happened and something like that.
Like, bro, we're devil hunters. We die all the time.
They did a what do you call it when you're showing the audience something?
Exposition?
Yeah, they did exposition in this moment with her, and it meant so much for the audience, and it was so good. It was so good. It wasn't like a Krillin moment. It wasn't like a Hunter moment. You know what I'm saying? Her being like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm gonna give everything to my demon, to my devil, so she can. It was this crazy like arm spider monster.
That's what the ghost devil looks like. Yeah.
And then she was talking about past situations with Aki, and he's like, this time you have to live so you can cry for me later. And it's just touching, you know what I'm saying?
Ugly.
It's just touching. But then to your point,
it's cut short too because it's so ugly. You see her give her entire physical body just for the girl with the contract with the snake devil to be like, snake, eat it. And this is gone in a second. Bullshit. It meant nothing. It meant nothing. Bullshit. And it's so ugly because even Katana Man dying by the curse devil, she literally just gets to touch him. She's like, hey, dude, stand up. Yeah. And like he's just like, oh, that was weird. Thanks for bringing me back, boss.
Yeah, I think it was such a bad cop out. Yeah, absolutely.
Because it's because a lot of the devils don't have powers that you'd normally think about when associated with them. The snake devil's power is essentially that, like, whatever it eats, if it eats another devil, it gains that power as well. Which means that she probably had eaten, like, a part of the death devil or the life devil or something like that. Because when she eats the ghost devil, she can now summon the ghost devil. Whatever.
Yeah. I don't know. Like I said, it doesn't make sense when she gets caught, too.
Yeah.
You know?
I think it's also that, like, that fight's crazy because like the last thing that Himeno does when after the ghost devil is like eaten by the snake is that like the little phantom hand like pulls the
he traps the katana devil.
Well, no, she pulls the lever on Denji, the little chainsaw starter cord thing. Yeah. So then like Denji's just like dying on the ground and bleeding out. Because the katana devil's power is that like it can do like Zoro katana fighting. Is that like he can move so quickly and so fast that you can't see him, and before you even know, you're just like cut in half. Mm-hmm. So the last thing she did is she started his fucking starter cord, and then he just comes back and he's trying to kill Katana Man. Mm-hmm. But then that fight's also crazy because like we're watching this coordinated assault, this hitman job on everybody in the special divisions. But then once they get to the bottom of the building and they've captured Chainsaw Man because they want his heart, we see Makima's actual power. And whatever she is or whatever she has a contract with or whatever, we see that she's now changed and she's in clean clothes and what she wanted those death row inmates for. So essentially, her power in this scene is that if she can get somebody else to say somebody else's name, she can sacrifice their life to kill somebody else.
Like Death Note almost.
It's exactly like Death Note. It's literally the Death Note power. So then like if she uses like a crow or she captures somebody else and she gets like a list of names of everybody that like is committing the hitman job, if she goes to the death row and she's like, say Aldo Mendez, and then you just see her squishing, like literally crushing something. Aldo Mendez is just crushed and in the pavement just on the other side of the world.
Yeah, like a paintball.
Yeah, like a paintball. That's literally what it looks like. And the gore here is so scary and terrifying because you literally see people's faces getting crushed and smeared, and essentially they're just like a splatter on the ground.
And you know what's fucking even more scarier? That even after that happens, like when there's one agent who is giving the resignation letter to Makima, like firsthand, is like, you know what I saw here today was fucking nuts and I just want to quit because there's something fishy going on. And then he hands him his resignation. She gets his like, okay, cool. And then he's like, how much much did you anticipate from all this? And
you're clearly not surprised.
Huh?
Yeah, he's just like, you're clearly not surprised.
Exactly. And then she goes to say, like, well, like, I can't discuss, like, special agency business with, like, a private citizen who just, like, handed me his resignation. And that is, like, the shit that is like, oh, this bitch
She's a psychopath.
Evil.
She's a psychopath.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Like, you're watching psychopathic behavior, and that's what's even scarier. You know what I mean? Because she's in a position of power, and she's leading this group of individuals. And, like, that's honestly, and what partially saves Denji is that, like, I don't know this isn't explained, and I don't think it's even explained later on, but Makima doesn't kill either Katana Man or the girl with the contract with the Snake Devil, and maybe that's because she can only kill lower powered people without like contracts with the devil or something like that, because they're still the only two alive with Denji's corpse on top of them, and they're just like, oh, we gotta get him out of here so we can take his heart,
or maybe devils can kill other devils or
something like that. Maybe that's the power. And we just see Kimino on the far end, because she was as a special agent almost got murked. Again, we don't know how she survived. We don't know what happened. And she's just there with a whole ass butcher knife. And she's like, you are gonna get it. And you just see her jumping and gliding and parkouring over the Snake Devil. And like, she stabs like the Katana Man like 5 times. He's like, oh fuck.
It's like Michael Myers' power.
Exactly. That's literally what her power is. And like, even when they were out having beers, she refused to tell everybody what her contracts are with. So that's like the fan theory is like, oh, it's the luck devil. This is not, no one's afraid of luck. I don't believe that one. But like, she has some kind of weird power that's never been properly explained. Even in like the entirety of the manga, Kimino's power has never been explained. And that's the only way like she's able to like secure Denji's body.
Yeah.
It is because like she stabs Katana Man, and now like the Snake Girl's gotta just like, fuck, I guess I gotta protect Katana Man, and just like drags him into the van, and then they scoot off.
Yeah, and then after that, I mean, Aki is in the hospital. He's contemplating his whole fucking life because now he has ED, and he can now summon the Fox Devil anymore because him calling the Fox Devil to eat Katana or to eat the girl. The Fox Devil said something along the lines like, oh, you fucking done it this time. You put something repulsing me in my mouth.
It was Katana.
And then the Fox Devil was like, nah, I'm out.
Yeah.
Right? So then they put Aki in this fucking almost John Wickish trial of like, you're gonna pick your death.
Yeah, almost. You're gonna pick your new contract, bro.
Yeah.
Because like, he even pulls out the little curse spear thing, is like Curse Devil, and the Curse Devil's character model is terrifying. Like, it's just a bunch of bones and like skulls, and it's super ugly and terrifying, and every time it appears on screen it's like grabbing your shoulder.
His back,
yeah, it's like a creepy old dude just like, hey, what are you doing?
The apples did remind me of Raikou, whatever.
Riku from the
Death Note.
Death Note, thank you. and like, the Cursed Devil says he's only got 2 years left. So he's guaranteed only 2 years left of life. And then Hibino's sister drops off all these letters, and all the letters are about like, how do I get Aki to quit like public service so that we can go private, because I just want to get him out of here. I just want to live with him forever, the little time that we have left, however time he has left with the Cursed Devil. Like, I just want to live it with him. And it's sad. It's so ugly, and he's crying. And it's ugly because like, we haven't had, like, even though Denji's our main character, we haven't had Denji dialogue or inner dialogue in a minute. And it's seeing Aki cry that we finally get some Denji dialogue after like 3 fucking episodes, where he's just like, why am I not crying? I haven't cried in a while since I kind of turned into a devil, sort of. And am I losing my humanity? I still feel human. I think the way I did before. But like, the way it's like, the people that have developmental disorders and they're not sure how to act in public, but they mirror the actions that they see in public. That's kind of what Denji's doing. He's just like, I feel like I'm supposed to be crying right now.
He's trying to mask almost.
Thank you. That's exactly what I'm saying.
But and I like that you brought that up, because I did want to bring it up because it feels, important to the story that for me, it makes me feel that they're telling the audience that his life as a poor, 8-year-old child who was just doing that, he can't imagine a worse situation than that. So any other situation just seems...
Why are you crying about that?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, even like Aki, like crying about Himeno, he's just like, I guess she was hot, but like, that's one less hottie in the world. That sucks.
Yeah.
But to cry about it, I don't know.
Exactly. It's like, I would cry, like, he's in his head, I feel like he's like, I would cry if I didn't no longer had my shed and Pochita with me. Like, that's when I would cry.
If I couldn't touch boobs no more, I'd cry.
Exactly. So it just feels kind of that way, because again, the story is trying to push a narrative like how much are you of a human if you have a devil living inside you, right?
That's what it's saying. Yeah.
Yeah, right. So it's like I really don't blame him having Pochita, who loved him.
Yeah.
Essentially,
Pochita was an empath.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't think like he is like going down spiral in a fucking void of not being an empath. I think he just is a hurt person who, you know, deals with shit differently than people.
Yeah, he's got trauma. He's got real trauma, and like he's never actually talked about it with anybody.
Questioning it, it's really fucking healthy.
Yeah,
being able to be like,
yeah.
Why is this not fucking hitting me? Is real healthy for somebody to talk about.
That's really mature, and I'm surprised I never thought about it like that. I was just like, wow, they're trying to make Denji sound like a sociopath. That's insane. That's really interesting. I never thought about it like that. That like it's mature that he questions it.
Absolutely,
which isn't entirely sociopathy. Like he's trying to coach
cope
himself.
Yeah,
to cope like by his own accord, but like he's not a professional, obviously. He's a 16-year-old idiot. But what you were saying about like one of my favorite devil in the entirety of part 1 is the future devil. So when you were talking about these two special agents like lead Aki down, since he basically can't use the Cursed Devil's power anymore because he doesn't have enough life for that anymore. The Fox Devil has abandoned him, and they introduce him to a new devil to make a contract with. It's the future devil, who is in the intro that we haven't. Yeah, he's like this crazy Firth. It looks like the monster or the spirit god kami thing, Earth spirit from Princess Mononoke.
Yeah.
It's exactly like that, which is like this goat, lion, deer thing all in one, except like the face has antlers but no eyes, but the body is like covered in fur.
He does have 6 eyes, but they're shut.
But they're shut.
He mainly sees with the chest eye.
Right, there's this big void in his chest with just this big eyeball. And it's the future devil. And like, but yeah, you see him in the intro, he's just dancing all goofy and he's getting jiggy with it, and then how he decides that he wants to work with Aki is he's like, okay, stick your head inside of my chest cavity, and I will decide if your future is good enough for me to help you. Which is scary because that's where the episode ends, and you're just like, what if his head just gets like crushed?
And then again, to like the whole reference galore that we have here, like this reminds me of Silence of the Lamb.
Yes.
With Jack Nicholson, him being the helper of the young detective who's trying to fucking find out what the fuck's going on.
Yes.
It's like the same fucking thing. And it's eerie in the best nerdy way of like, you know, being a movie buff or being like this media pop culture buff.
And I think that's cool because like a lot of like anime adaptations, they don't care what the manga's original intention was. But the mangaka for Chainsaw Man is vehemently all the time talking about how much of a movie buff he is and how much like every scene that we think is weird in Chainsaw Man, it's like, no, I took that from this movie, this movie, this movie, this movie. Like I think it's weird that you don't see it like that because that's how I see it. That's how that's why he thinks a lot of people won't like his writing because they're like, dude, like I'm just a movie buff. I'm just taking this from everywhere else.
Yeah,
but
it's almost Araraki like.
Yes. But for Studio Mappa to be like, we're gonna respect the original vision and throw in all the movie references means a lot, especially to the fan base. And that's why, like, again, it's like a comfort anime because everything's a meme, everything's comfort, everything. I know every reference, I know everything about it, and that's what makes it like feel so highbrow because it's highbrow, but it's also like ground level with the rest of us. Yeah. And anyways, the future devil. He sticks his head in there, and the future devil like, you are gonna die crazy, bro. Like, I want to see this firsthand. You don't have to give up shit. Just let me live inside of your left eyeball, and I will give you future sight hockey.
He doesn't say that at first. It was just like, you don't have to give up anything. Let me just live there because I just want to see it.
Yeah.
But then later on, when he's fighting the ghost devil through the snake devil girl,
yes,
he's like, well, if it helps, like I
here's
can give
some
you
future sight.
Yeah, I can give you like a second of sight into the future, so he's able to dodge the ghost devil, get the head, you know what I'm saying, and eventually trap that one girl.
Yeah. And I think I called this when we were talking about Chainsaw Man and Nerd Downs before it officially came out. I knew how season 1 was going to end before it even came out. I called it beforehand. I was like, it's going to end with the second fight with the Katana Man. Which is how it does. So basically, they're just like, we know where all these Yakuza are hiding. We're just going to storm their base, and we're going to find Katana Man, and we're just going to kick him in the nuts.
Makima brought a baggie of eyes from all the people.
She goes to the Yakuza, and she's like, I need everybody's names, and we know from a couple episodes ago that's because she's going to crush them and kill them as long as she has their names. And, like, the Yakuza are like, I can give you all my guys. They betrayed me. Like, I'll sell out my own dudes because they sold me out. But then she's like, okay, I need the names of the other families as well. And he's just like, I don't think you know what you're asking about, little lady. Like, we're a necessary evil. The Japanese government needs us, or else the commies are gonna the commie gangs are gonna come in here and like take over the country. And she's like, listen to me. I don't give a shit. Here's a wet baggie full of everybody's family members' eyeballs. Yeah. Everybody you know, you love, their eyeballs, their ears, their tongues. I will kill them because they're in my possession unless you sell out these other families. And everyone's like, boss, you gotta do it. You gotta do it, boss. Yeah. Crazy. Makima is terrifying. And again, we don't know everything. We just know that this is some crazy bitch with some weird powers. That's all we know at this point. And that's like episode like 11.
Who has boobs and a butt.
And a butt. And a butt. Like, I think about that scene all the time where, like, Power and Denji are just like bickering in the street, and like for whatever reason, Studio Mappa just gave a whole 15-second scene to just like Makima's ass on a bench.
Yeah,
weird, crazy. I don't know what they're trying to get across with that one.
And you guys might think that we're done here, but no. After the fight with Katana Man, you know.
Oh, and that fight is insane because Denji does use some brain power. So basically, he can't directly defeat Katana Man because, like, Katana Man has that, like, lightning speed, Zoro flash,
Zenitsu,
like, the Zenitsu lightning thunderclap flash. I think that's what it's called, thunderclap flash, like, power that, like, he'll just lunge forward and he'll, like, cut you in half before you even know it. What Denji does essentially is after both of his arms are cut off inside of a trainway, because it's a narrow space, he knows that Katana Man's gonna go straight for his head and just try to cut his head off. He turns his leg into a chainsaw, and before Katana Man can realize what's happening, like, he cuts him in half vertically. Mm-hmm. And that scene in the dub is hilarious because it's like, I knew you were gonna go for my head, you like a dumbass.
No, yeah, he says like, you put the dick in predictable, dumbass. Yeah, and then he's like, oh shit, Power Ranger.
Yeah, cuts in half. And he's just like, I knew you were like me, so that's why I knew if I fed you some blood and I just stuck your pieces together, then you'd come together as a human. And it's just him and Aki just kicking this man in the nuts for like 30 minutes. Full circle. That's what he gets.
They meet kicking each other's balls.
They bond kicking this dude in the nuts.
This guy in the balls. And then once everything fucking passes over and we're a step closer to the Gun Devil, I forgot what I was going to go to with this.
Makima's having a talking with like the government after that, where she's like, we found pieces of the Gun Devil's flesh with that group of the Yakuza, and all of our Gun Devil flesh together is now moving towards the main Gun Devil body so we can capture it and get it.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And that's like the end of the anime, essentially. It's like, again, Makima's up to something. The Japanese government knows Makima's up to something, but they know that they need the Gun Devil more than anything else.
It's fucking wild. It's a war against the USA.
It's amazing. It's amazing. Love it so much.
No, it's super good. Every single outro is different.
Yes.
It's super good. It's
no. There's 7.
Oh, there's 7?
There's 7 or 8. Like, a couple of them are used 2 or 3 times.
Okay. There's still 7.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's way more than everything else. Yeah.
They're super good. The animation's super good. I understand why they had to use 3D modeling in some of the aspects of Chainsaw Man, but it's tasteful. The first episode is the only one that gets like over the line.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah.
But like everything else seems very cool. Even the intro looks very cool in 3D modeling.
Oh, and at the very end, when they're raiding the building to get to the girl with the contract with the Snake Devil and Katana Man, that's where we meet the rest of Special Division 4, which is like the Shark Fiend, the Angel Devil, and the
Captain Kashibe. That's where I was going.
Oh, okay.
So towards the end of this season, Makima puts Power and Denji under Captain Kishibe,
Yeah.
right? And like he's this old, super experienced devil hunter who puts him through a training montage of like just murdering each other, and it feels like it feels very like pop culture-ish, because I know I've seen this before where like, oh, I'm so traumatized of dying over and over and over again.
Yeah.
It's something I can't put my finger on it, but it's from pop culture. But like it's so tastefully gory, and I guess that was my point.
Yeah, because essentially, like, he's the #1 ranked devil hunter that works for the government, and like right away he just kills Denji and Power over and over and over, and that's their training montage.
That's
It's
before the last katana.
That is
fight,
before
right,
the fight
yeah,
with
yeah.
Katana
We
Man.
skipped through. Okay, yeah, that's what I was tripping on.
And that's why Denji was able to beat Katana Man, because he had the training with Kishibe. But like the Kishibe thing, like he's not like a regular mentor in anime. He's not All Might. Like All Might cared so much about Deku. Like Kishibe will be like, dude, I will torture you till the end of
Nick
days
Fury-ish
because
kind of
yeah,
shit.
yeah, like Nick Fury, because he's scarred up, he's ugly, like he's been through some shit. Clearly, he's a drunk. He has clear PTSD, and like he openly admits that's why I'm always drunk. I have so much PTSD. I have seen
I'm
some
fighting
shit.
devils.
I have seen some shit that you can't even imagine.
Yeah.
And like that's why he's always drunk and always trying to forget. But like right away he can be like, okay, that fiend Power, talking about Power, she's like, she's semi-immortal. The boy is full-on immortal. As long as I give them blood, both of them can survive anything essentially. And like Kishibe is probably gonna be one of the most important characters in season 2 of the anime. Like he is crazy overpowered,
Because he definitely puts another soft plot to what the first season of Chainsaw Man is.
and in season 1 he does openly admit like he doesn't trust Makima at all.
Yeah.
And he says that out loud.
Yeah, because I think there's a conversation between him and Ninja 2. Is like, what are you doing this? Oh, is Makima is such a good person? He's like, yeah.
It's like when like people you knew were hooking up with somebody toxic.
And
You're
you're like,
really?
Yeah. I feel like this little training montage with like this top agent from the
Right, he's the #1 devil exterminator.
I feel like the coolest part that the part that I like the most about this cool part is that the little fiction about how Fiend Power gets anemic when she uses too much blood.
Right, which is hilarious. Like, because like her a part we didn't even describe is like when they're in the motel and they're trapped by the Eternity Devil. The Eternity Devil's like, if you kill Chainsaw Man and give me his heart, I will let all of you leave. When Kimino goes crazy, she like is like, I'm gonna fucking kill Denji. Everyone get the fuck out of my way. She stabs Aki in the gut because like she was trying to stab Denji, and like Power's just like, Denji asked Power like, hey, you're literally the blood fiend. Can you just stop him from bleeding? And she's like, tis but a trivial matter, but I only have power over thy own blood. And he's just like, well, you're fucking useless then. What the fuck?
It's Aqua.
Yeah, it's Aqua from Konosuba.
Yeah.
Shout out to Konosuba. Love Konosuba.
Konosuba.
And yeah, so like if she only has power over her own blood, and they set up like
Booby traps
full of her own blood that they can make spears or whatever out of. If she just like activates them all at once, she's anemic because she has no more blood in her system. It's hilarious.
It is. Iron deficiency is hilarious. I like that you think that. Please watch out for your iron levels. But yeah, it is amazing how Chainsaw Man puts all this weird stuff into like.
My barber tried telling me today that he
he's anemic?
that he thinks asthma's fake and that it's made up by like the American drug industry as a way to keep you addicted to like inhalers for the rest of your life.
How are inhalings? All they get you is beat up in high school.
I've had to send Aldo to Mexico to buy me inhalers before because I wasn't insured and couldn't fucking breathe.
That's not true.
It's okay,
but
like listen,
But yeah.
like I swear to God, it's real.
No, and even I've never been diagnosed with any like respiratory like things or anything like that. But when you
Way to rub it in.
like You let me hit your inhaler once because you know what I'm saying. Like I feel like I needed to open up my lungs.
It's a bad air quality day, whatever.
But it does help. Even not as somebody that is not diagnosed with asthma, like it helps to breathe easier.
So maybe Power would be overpowered if she were given an iron supplement.
Yeah, imagine like
think about it.
Well, it's almost like a My Hero Academia thing where Bakugo has his sweat collecting gloves.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like if you have something
your
like
sweat has nitroglycerin in it.
Yeah, but like Bane from Batman, like having a little like thing that gives you iron and the fucking Power is just going nuts. That would be fucking crazy to see.
Crazy. I can't even remember what the very last scene of season 1 is. It's well, I maybe it's just the whole questioning by the Japanese government.
Yes, that's what it is.
That's what it is.
Because the credits are rolling and everything.
Because there's clearly something else that's going on with Makima. We don't know what it is, but it's some Five Nights at Freddy's with it with this shit. Like we know that there's a plot somewhere. It's not very clear what the plot is. But it's out there, and I'm sure they'll flush it out next season.
But it entertains people.
But it does entertain people.
Yeah, people with particular sets of interest.
Yeah.
Very
specific.
Do we have a nerd down?
I think we've got a nerd down. We can talk about a little bit about like the new season and other stuff that's been going on. Look.
Fuck it, nerd down.
Nerd down. Nerd down. Welcome to Nerd Down, where nerds get down again. Drew Philip Elias, Aldo Mendez. At the beginning of this nerd down, I guess we want to go over, enter our monthly giveaway. I don't think we have... Well, we have one entry for the month of April so far.
Yeah.
So basically, if you're a subscriber on YouTube and you comment on any video, YouTube short, actual YouTube video, whatever...
As long as it's not a shitty comment.
Yeah, nothing super negative. Yeah, semi-negative, maybe.
Semi-negative, yeah. If you think we suck, it's all right.
It's all right. It's all right. I won't take that personally. But, like, you can enter our giveaway. We'll get you some cool hand-picked nerd stuff. We've given out Gundams. We've given out... canteens of candy from Grave of the Fireflies. Like, whatever your interests are, we'll get it for you. We'll send it directly to your house. Like, no cost, no shipping fees, nothing. It's just a gift. It's just a gift from us to you for participating in our community.
If you have a P.O. box, we'll send it out there, too. You know what I'm saying? If you don't want to give out your address for some reason. Also, you need to tweak your privacy settings on YouTube to let us know that you're subscribed to the channel. But, yeah. We will give you some free shit if you do comment and try to interact with us, because we want to do also conversations with the community. We're thinking about doing Twitch. We're thinking about even something before that. We're thinking about maybe doing lives, somewhere before on YouTube just to talk to the community real quick before our episodes.
Right.
If
you're not active on YouTube, you can also interact with us on your favorite podcasting platform. If you leave a positive review and then email us showing proof that you left a positive review at betweennerdspodcast@gmail.com, then you're also entered into the giveaway. The only thing is, like, on Spotify and like Apple Podcasts and like Deezer and Pandora, we don't know who's giving us a good review. Like, we don't get that notification. Same way with we do with YouTube or stuff like that. And so we can't reward the people that are supporting us.
Yeah.
So, like, just email us and show us, like, hey, I gave you a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. It's great. Awesome. Cool. You're entering into the giveaway.
And we'll give you something cool.
Yep.
We do that every month, so thank you. It is the month of awareness to alcohol dependency also, too.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So, everybody who's having a hard time over there, just remember there's things outside of that you
there's a lot of help, you know what I mean? And like, I've known a lot of people in those types of settings, and like the biggest first step is to realize you have an issue. And I understand that, like, I've never been through that myself, but I've seen a lot of that firsthand. But, like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like there's like even in people that aren't masculine, that aren't men, there's like a machismo aspect about, like, receiving help.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That was the point I was going to make. The help thing. There's a lot of people that be like, well, I have my shit together. I'm not like that other person. I don't need help.
Yeah, that's what I was going to point out too. I was going to point out that maybe you don't realize that your relationship with alcohol, it's that healthy. Maybe you need to change your relationship with alcohol, like, overall.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You don't have to quit it. You don't have to, you don't have to be this born again Christian to live alcohol and shit like that. But, like, you can always change your relationship with anything.
Yeah.
But anyways, nerd down.
Back to fun topics.
Back to fun times.
You watched the Mario movie?
I did watch the Mario movie.
What'd you think? Because, like, here's my thing.
So my first thought was that I'm trying to get away from my job at the school that I sub at. And who sits next to me? A student and his mom. And I'm like, shit.
Damn
I
it.
really had to drink this 4 beers in front of the students. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But that was my first thought. But anyways, it was a fun movie.
Because the reviews were mixed. The critic reviews were bad. The audience reviews were fairly high.
I understand why the critic reviews were high, because as far as
Low.
putting together a movie, it's a little clunky. But as far as fun meter goes, like, it's a fun movie.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So, but as far as
It's
movie,
like every other Illumination movie.
it's
Like the Minions. It's like all the Gru movies.
it's one of those like early comedies about nothing, like Mouse Hunt back in the day, or
Got it.
like Dennis the Menace kind of thing, or like just something easy like that.
But why isn't Yoshi in it? I'm so lost.
I can understand why, because it's not a platform situation. You know, like, in what way will Joshi help you outside a platform game? In it, I mean, he's what thing?
Shy Guy was in it.
Shy Guy was a you know, like a goon from Bowser.
Did you like the voice acting? I know the English dubbing was a big issue.
No, I did. It wasn't nothing that it took me away from the movie. But then again, the movie's not so great. So
you think Chris Pratt was a good Mario?
honestly, I didn't even think about it.
You didn't
when I
even
was
recognize
watching
it.
Yeah, I was just like, you know what? I don't care. This is what the Mario that they're trying to give me. Like, again, it's a fun movie, but it's not something world changing. The good thing about something that is animated just like anime is that they always want you to look at stuff.
Yes.
Because they put it, they animated themselves. They
Right.
put it there for a reason. So they always want you to look at something behind the behind the front frame. They want you to go look in the background, and that's what got me like, oh, look, they're doing a reference on this, they're doing a reference on that, they're doing a reference on this. Look who's over there in the background, and that's what's fun to a fucking nerd,
Right.
to watch Super Mario movie.
Because
But it's not a
it's
bad
like fan
movie.
service.
Yeah,
That's exactly what it is. It's fan
it's
service.
an hour and a half fan service.
There's nothing wrong with that. I think I'd enjoy that movie. And like, I think that's what's crazy about this anime season in particular, is that, like, every new thing feels like fan service a little bit. Like, we have some seasons where it's like, oh, I promise this is going to be good someday. I promise this adaptation is going to be good. This season, spring 2023, feels like everything is just there for the fans that already exist. Like, Hell's Paradise, the new Studio Mappa anime, exists for people that already like Chainsaw Man and Jujutsu Kaisen.
I feel like that's a very vague comment to make, because then again, we also have stuff like Suzume from
But like, we've known for like 6-7 months that
Exactly.
Suzume was going to hit.
Exactly, but what if we didn't? You know what I'm saying? What if you're a fucking
I wish
nerd?
I could go into it blind.
Exactly. What if you're a nerd who's barely jumping into anime this season in particular, and you see all this crazy shit?
Your friend's like, come with me to the movies. We're going to watch Suzume, bro.
Yeah.
And you're just like, what the fuck am I going to watch?
Yeah, and then you watch it and you're like, wait, what? And then you watch Chainsaw Man, and then you watch, like, Mob Psycho, even though that's, like,
Well, I
a couple
think,
years ago.
and like, that brings us up into the next, like, couple weeks of, like, the podcast even, is that, like, this upcoming week we're going to be watching Mob Psycho 100 season 3, the final season of Mob Psycho 100, which, like, I'm super stupidly excited about. And the week after that, we're going to bring Alex Martinez back. I spoke with him yesterday. He's down to talk about Suzume with us. So, like, Alex is, like, really highbrow about his movie likes and interests because he's really big on Letterboxd.
He watches a lot of stuff.
He watches like 7 movies a week, like, which I can't even fathom right
It's
now.
like when you were telling me, like, oh, I've been spending so much time at the movies. That one time that you watched, like, what, like 4 movies, like, in the same 2 weeks or something like that.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's good, bro. It's good to be entertained. It's good not to, like, also, like, seclude yourself from being entertained just because you think it might be whack, and you might think it might
I
not
was
be
just
good
watching
enough.
everything. Yeah.
Because my biggest regret of, like, watching something that I don't like is the time that I lose watching it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But,
And the
like,
money if you see it in theaters.
The money if you see it in theaters, but like Alex is just binging movies every fucking day, and it's great.
God.
It feels good to be entertained, which I was with Chainsaw Man. You know what I'm saying? I hope I'm gonna be the same thing with Suzume, which I think
I almost
know,
guarantee I'm gonna
yeah.
love it. Absolutely. My biggest question going into the movie myself is like, where am I gonna rank it against the other like movies by this creator?
And it brings me to another point of like this whole talks about like MCU fatigue.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Did you like the Marvels trailer?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
I did. It was just a conversation between the chat. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause
Yeah.
Usually, our friend comes to me with like, I don't know, bro. Which is the same friend that I tell you that I talk about a lot with movies, but he has secluded himself in this like Twitter
Atmosphere.
That's like, oh, the people don't like it, that means I'm not gonna like it, or that means I should like stay away from it.
Right.
Which in some cases is true. You know, reviews even by Rotten Tomatoes is the same fucking thing.
Right.
But yeah, I did like it. And going back with MCU fatigue,
I'm really excited for the Marvels. If I'm being, because I think I was really honest when I said like Miss Marvel sucked, but that's because of like actual like storyboarding issues. Like it was really weird, but like the trailer seemed really fun, and it got me excited.
what I was gonna say, it's almost in the same lens that you were trying to say that what this season of anime was like, because I feel that from our lens,
Okay.
watching anime week to week from even old anime, this anime, we are constantly thinking about those animes that we watch. So for us, it feels like trope after fan service after fan service after repeated plot lines.
Right.
But like, I don't think that makes this season bad or good. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Well, this is like, so they finally released what was essentially the movie for Demon Slayer that came out like a couple months ago.
Yeah.
And like, I think it was immaculate because like, talk about like warm, fuzzy, like feel good, comfort anime vibes. I get that same feeling from Demon Slayer. And that's just because like, I've known the plot to Demon Slayer for like 3-4 years already. Like I read the entirety of Demon Slayer in 2020. You know what I mean? And like in an evening. I just stayed up till 2-3 a.m. just reading the entirety of Demon Slayer because I was so enthralled and in love with its writing. And just watching this 45-minute episode, I already know the plot beats. I know exactly what's going to happen this season. But just seeing it in live action, just like from a studio like UFO Table that cares about the medium and cares about the source material, it's like, it hits me right in the gut. It's just like, this is so... I'm so lucky to be experiencing this right now.
Yeah.
Because how many anime that have we watched, or like have you seen on nerd Twitter or the internet where like the manga's so good, bro, the manga's so good, and then the anime comes out and it's just like, dude, that's ass. That's super bad.
I mean, we're seeing that happening with Kaiju number 8. It seems like it doesn't have good reviews of
that makes me sad. That makes me
animation.
so sad because like Kaiju number 8 is like something that I got Aldo super excited about, and I almost felt bad afterwards because it's like the manga up until the last like 20-30 chapters or so was amazing. It was hitting so good. It had so much potential. The anime was announced, but now like every news we hear about, it's like, oh, delayed chapter releases. We get one chapter every 2 months now. Or like the anime production's been pushed back, and now all we hear is negative news so much that they can't even gain traction in terms of popularity, that like once the anime does come out, it's probably going to tank because like all people know are bad things about it at this point. And that sucks, like that, like, because Kaiju number 8 is such a cool original story, and we're never going to get to see it in live action as well as we know it.
And then in contrary to that, you have Oshinoko.
Which, like, I don't want to spoil it because I gave Aldo my high dive password, like, right before he got here. Right before he got here, he got my high dive password. And, like, I mentioned a little bit during the body of the episode, but, like, dude, I cried this episode. Knowing exactly what was going to happen because, like, I'd read the first volume, the first 10 chapters, like, twice. I knew exactly what was going to happen. I knew it like the back of my hand, and just like watching it firsthand with Karen, it's like I tried so hard not to cry, but I couldn't help it. I literally couldn't help it. And like, I'm so excited for the rest of the season. Like, it's already breaking records on my anime list for being the top rated anime of all time. But like that's hype, you know what I mean? That's a bunch of new fans flooding the reviews. It's not like I do not think after one episode it is better than Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. That is not what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But like there's clearly enthusiasm behind it is what I'm trying to say, I guess.
Well, you're concerned about the studio.
Right, it's a no-name studio.
Yeah.
Still have no idea who this studio is. It's on a third-party platform. It's not on Crunchyroll. It's not on Netflix. It's not on Hulu. It's on High Dive. And, like, I'm down to pay for High Dive for the next 3 months, which is annoying. Like, some part of my brain is just kind of like, why are you wasting money like that? But at the same point, it's like, I'm doing a disservice for how much I've been talking about talking about Oshinoko to not actually invest my time and money into it. And that's after taking 3 months to read 95 chapters. So, like, I don't even... The pacing that they went with the first episode, I don't even know where this season's going to end. Like, I literally don't know. As opposed to, like, Demon Slayer or My Hero Academia or Chainsaw Man, I know exactly what chapter each season is going to end on. Oshinoko, I'm going into it... Like, I have no idea because of the way Oshinoko is written. Because not only is it, like, it's a deep dive into the entertainment industry and, like, breaking down what it means to be a pop idol, what it means to be an actor, what it means to be...
Which we've seen before. Yeah.
Right, but, like, a lot more deep. Like, it's like how... What's the cooking one?
Food Wars?
So Food Wars is gimmicky and gaggy and has, like, these over-the-top reactions, but you have whole... episodes and scenes where they're over describing cooking techniques and it gets really technical. That's how Oshinoko is. It gets really, really, really technical about the entertainment industry.
Bochi the Rock?
Yeah, kind of ish. Because it's in Bochi no Rock, it was the technical aspect about like running a concert, running a venue, and that's kind of how Oshinoko is. Because it's like, look, I'm a pop idol. I only make $2,000 a month. But, like, this is where this money is going to. This is where the royalties are going to. This is how much the studio's getting. There are 8 other girls in the pop idol group. All this stuff. And, like, once they become, like, actors or once they start doing stage plays, like, you start seeing technical aspects like that. But it also has this sub-genre / plot associated with it, which is only brought up at the very end of the first hour episode that, like... completely shatters what you think the anime is about. And like I'm glad that part stayed because that's how the first volume reads. So I'm super excited about that one.
I'm telling you, ever since I heard this fucking interview with Bryan Cranston in Hot Ones about like how he sees like roles in his movies and how like the characters like help the audience to either be strong, to either holding your cry, or like to help the audience with this, like I watched that episode before I started watching like Chainsaw Man, and then watching Chainsaw Man, I was just like, God.
Well, Chainsaw Man is weirdly highbrow.
It was itching my fucking brain because even just like the negligence that Denji has over his own life, it's like, dude, it's like, get out of there, brother. Fuck.
Like he doesn't even realize it. But us as an audience, I think that's what's scary about it too. Because like when you're watching horror movies and you're just like, dude, do not go down that hallway. Like,
is the dark hallway, the light hallway?
Which one do I go down? But it's just like they always pick the dark hallway, right? And us as an audience, we're like, you're stupid, you know. But like that's because we have knowledge as an audience that the character isn't supposed to have.
It's wild.
Did you watch the new Zelda trailer?
I did.
Did you? Okay, that's the first time this
excited.
entire cycle I've been excited.
I'm excited because what was the problem with like the past? You know, the
gameplay trailer looked ugly.
I wasn't even gonna go into that. I was just gonna go into Wind Waker. Like, what was one of the issues with like Zelda fans? Like, it's not Zelda. It's more of an RPG of like how you just beat Ganon. You're not even saving the princess, you're not even saving villagers, you're not even saving nobody, right? There's no dungeons to the game.
Where's the Triforce?
You know what I'm saying? Where's the Triforce? And like this preview like brings that into from view of like the Wind Waker.
It feels like Skyward Sword. It feels like Wind Waker. It feels like Twilight Princess. Yeah. Like it finally feels like after like 14 years a Zelda game.
Yeah.
And, like, we haven't had a Zelda game since Twilight Princess, and that was, like, 2006. Like, people don't even realize how old that game is anymore. Wind Waker was, like, 2002,
that was
bro.
That was my favorite, bro.
But see, Wind Waker had more vibes that Breath of the Wild had. It was like big
Yes.
open world.
Yes.
It did have dungeons, don't get me wrong, but like you were almost stumbling into the story.
Yes.
As opposed to like Twilight Princess was like, here's this very linear path that you're taking.
Not exactly, because
Okay.
as a bean boy with my second language being English, I didn't know what islands to go.
Oh my God.
So I had to, you know, the little grid that you have for you, A1, B2, C3, whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I had to go through all of those before I knew what the fuck was going on. So I'm just saying. It was pretty dungeony to me. But yeah, you did stumble into...
Right, and that's how Breath of the
yeah.
Wild kind of is. Because, like, you can play through all of Breath of the Wild without playing anything. Like, there's how many videos on YouTube of people with 3 hearts right after you get the open map going straight to Calamity Ganon?
And then if you think about it, like, Ocarina of Time is not that different. Even though, like, the things that you have to collect helped you on the next step of your journey. Like, at the end of the day, once you get to a certain point, the only things that matter is the light arrows, your master sword, and your shield, right?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Or a model.
But everything else, it was just subjectively put there to, like, help you throughout the dungeon, which is okay.
Right. Yep.
But Wind Waker didn't even do that. Wind Waker was like, you can literally just go to Ganon, beat him, and that's it.
Oh, you mean Breath of the Wild?
I mean Breath of the Wild. Yeah.
No, I got you. And like, I think that's why everyone's finally excited. Because, like, we see a plot line in the Tears of the Kingdom trailer. And, like, I think I'm going to take the day off of work that day. But what I think is interesting is because, like, when we saw the gameplay trailer last month, and it's just, like, that producer literally playing the game, I was like, holy shit, this looks bad. I was like, this looks so boring and stupid. I don't want to play.
Thing.
Well, not only it's like, look, now you can connect mushrooms to your sword. Isn't that so interesting? Look, you can connect batteries and fans to a boat. Isn't that so? I was like, oh my god, I'm not paying the upgraded price of $70 for that. I'm like, sorry, I'm not. But then now that we got this, and I'm just like Skyward Sword is my least favorite Zelda game by like a large margin.
Yeah.
But like
That's what I was
the
gonna
gameplay is dog shit. But story-wise, it's probably the most important game. And now that we have a game, like every Zelda game, all nerds talk about is like, where does this fit on the timeline? Where does this fit on the timeline? Like before Breath of the Wild, and they actually published a book that was like, look, this is how the 3 timelines work. How many videos and theories were there about the timeline? Infinite. There was so much content on just trying to create the Zelda timeline. And now that we have it, they were like, it's kind of boring. It's kind of stupid. And Breath of the Wild doesn't help with that plotline at all. But now that in this trailer, we have Demise in the trailer, we have Ganondorf in the trailer, we have Zelda turning into the goddess Hyrule in this trailer, all of a sudden we're just excited, stupidly. And I am too. I'm probably going to pre-order it next week. I'm probably going to take that day off of work, like I did with the last Pokemon game, and just like play it all damn night. I'm so excited. I'm so stupid excited. I think that might be about it for the Nerd Down, if I'm being completely honest. It's a good chunk for an episode. It might be the best episode we've had in a while. I'm really happy about how this came out.
I also, I thought we might have forgotten to be excited about an anime, but like...
Hey, man.
It's really refreshing to be really excited about talking about an anime.
Well, it's because we had our theme months. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like,
those feel forced almost.
They do feel forced, but they also feel like a necessity because it's like, when else are we going to talk about that group of like anime, especially in those topics? Like, it's hard. It's really difficult. But like, you're right. This is like, it's so highbrow, but it's also like so mainstream. And like Chainsaw Man, it's just it's goated with it. Like, how have you not seen Chainsaw Man? Like, it's almost weird to have an obscure opinion about Chainsaw Man at this point.
And even as somebody that has never watched anime, like, it's a really good starting point.
Yes.
To watch anime.
I agree.
You know what I'm saying? If you do have that pop culture kind of mind, you like superhero movies, you like high fiction movies, you like
Tarantino movies.
You know what I'm saying? yeah. Like, it is an anime for you that you can just jump into it and enjoy what anime is, and which is something that I wouldn't say about something that's horny like Chainsaw Man, but like it almost dips your toes in how horny like an anime can get.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Because
Yeah.
at least there's a reason in the
To
plot
be horny.
for it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, don't forget to subscribe on YouTube, leave a comment, enter the giveaway, all that. Leave a positive review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Deezer, Pandora, whatever, what have you. Email us questions, comments, or concerns betweennerdspodcast@gmail.com. Drew Elias, Saldo Mendez. There's a dog underneath the table somewhere. This has been Between
Birds.
Nerds. Thanks for watching Between Nerds Podcast. Somewhere on the screen is a link to our most recent episode. Somewhere else on the screen is a link to a body of clips that you all should watch. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks.